You have reached the Geek Elite. Good luck.
Nostalgia is one of the strongest forces in the human psyche and is responsible for the continued existence of some of our favorite fandoms. From the minds behind the Dole Up in Dreams podcast and Isolation Cast Voices from Quarantine, Saturday Morning Confidential takes you on a deep dive into the properties that helped influence the artists and creators of today. So whether you are a Goonie, a Gem Girl, a Digi-Destined, or you just want to return to Oz, new episodes release on Fridays bi-weekly starting January 1st of 2021, and join us on the Wednesdays after the main show for the Serial Killer Radio Hour, where we sit down with the people responsible for the toys, shows, and fandoms that you love. Now you can find Saturday Morning Confidential at certainpov.com/SMCpod or on your favorite podcast platforms. So don't forget to tune in for another deep dive into the files of Saturday Morning Confidential.
Welcome, everybody, to We Have Issues, Geek Elite Media show that's about everything literary, books, comic books, webcomics, manga, and everything else you might be reading. We're here to talk about it. As always, I am your host, Keith, and I'm joined by my stalwart sidekick, who is always at my side, Josue.
Man, I can always appreciate a very light week of comics. Not that I love my comics, but oh my god, can I just appreciate a nice light load.
It's been so heavy lately that I think if this was a heavier week, I don't know if I would have gotten through them.
Oh man, yeah.
Like last night was the first time I was reading comics in a long time that I'm like,
I need
to stop because I'm not absorbing anything.
Yes.
I'm just turning pages. But luckily I woke up this morning and I was able to read some more and I'm like, okay, I'm back into it. This is good. So yeah, light week of comics, but we do have some things to talk about, some really important comics to talk about, and some very important news. So let's get started with the news. The first thing I want to talk about is the Eisner nominations are out. Those who've listened to our show for a year now know that I am a massive, massive fan of the Eisners. It's the comic book Oscars as far as I'm concerned, and it's always a lot of fun. This goes back to me meeting Matt Fraction at Comic-Con 2015 when he was in the middle of the Hawkeye run, being in his panel about the Hawkeye run. When they came in and gave him his award on stage, they surprised him. Like he didn't know he was going to win it. So it was really cool. So that was awesome.
So dope.
So ever since then, I've always been obsessed with the Eisners. And I know it's very political. I know it's a very touchy subject. Yeah. But that's what it is. I mean, it's an industry award. And the thing with these industry awards is they tend to show problems within the industries, which is good. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what it's representative of the ongoing issues in the industry. And we can talk about that a little bit if you guys want, but instead of focusing on, so-and-so should have been nominated, which we'll probably have one or two of those, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
there was a very apparent,
there's two or three that me and Jose are like, But instead of focusing as much on that, we do want to focus on the positivity, because a lot of what was nominated is incredible.
Oh my God, yes.
So we're going to talk about a couple of the main categories. And I'm going to put Josue on the spot.
Oh, man, I hate
because some of these he's going to be torn about. But first off, Josue.
Yeah.
Best continuing series. Last year, this went to Bitterroot.
Yes.
Bitterroot's nominated again.
Yes.
Along with Daredevil.
Yep.
Department of Truth.
Yes.
Gideon Falls. Stillwater, which surprised me.
Me too. Honestly, me too.
And Usagi Yojimbo.
Which is really dope.
Yeah. So, what do you want? What do you think's going to win, and what do you want to win?
Just because I have no power in this in the first ones, Bitterroot. I think Bitterroot will win. Would I want to win? Of course, I would love to give it to Bitterroot again because it's just like 2 times in a row. But they had that break, so I do want to give it to a comic that did continuously put out stuff for the year. So I'm torn between Daredevil and Department of Truth, to be honest. Stillwater was really good, but out of the two Zdarsky runs, I kind of still am waiting for a little bit more on Stillwater to develop instead of just like the next like cliffhanger. But Daredevil's just been fucking amazing. But then I'd rather not give it to one of the big two, so it just leaves me with Department of Truth. And it's just like issue after issue. It's just it leaves me super fucking creeped out. It leaves me like just like not knowing what I should really think, and it's just like it makes me feel stupid in the end. But in the way I just love that comics can make me feel this way, and that's what makes me love the medium so much. So in the end, I think I'm leaning with Department of Truth. Only because I know I'm getting the movie for Bitterroot. So I know I'm already winning there.
Yeah, I am picking. So here's the thing: we talk a lot about the big two, right?
Yeah,
and there's a lot of hate online for the big two, and it's to me it seems like there's a creative hate, and then there's just we hate them because they're successful hate, and both are justified on different levels and stuff. Mm-hmm. To be fair, the only one of these books I read on a regular basis is Daredevil.
Yes.
And to be fair, it won Best Comic 2 years in a row at our own awards.
This is true.
How am I going to go against the people? So, I want Daredevil. No, I want Daredevil to win. I think Stillwater will win.
Really? Ooh.
The reason is there's 2 Chip Zdarsky books nominated.
Uh-huh.
They really wanted Zdarsky on this.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to give it to Daredevil.
Sure.
That's kind of my logic. If 2 of his books made it there, they're obviously in favor of him right now. We'll talk about him more in a bit too.
I'm reading the book and I like it, but it's not. But it's not splashing the water like as much as like any of the other books I could do.
Yeah, but again, it all goes back to
it's literally the one nomination I'd actually probably change out of this list.
Yeah, well, it all goes back to not who deserves to win.
Yeah.
But it's who they want to win.
Then at that point, give it to Bitterroot again.
And that's my backup. I think Bitterroot will win if Stillwater doesn't, because of a reason we're going to talk about in a moment. So let's move on so we don't get hooked to too deep. Best Limited Series.
Ooh, okay.
I have an opinion here.
Yeah.
Barbalian Red Planet.
Yeah.
By Jeff Lemire. Decorum. You read Decorum.
Yeah.
Far Sector. Strange Adventures, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, or We Live. Far Sector should win this by a fucking mile.
Ooh, yeah. Honestly, in this case, it's contradictory to the last point, but I actually give it to Far Sector just because the whole premise of the book, the whole point of the book, and like everything about the book and something. It's as far as all the DC books, this one should probably go to it. And like I read Decorum, but it's on its penultimate issue. I'm still waiting on the last issue, and I still don't know what the fuck it's about. So I'd rather not give it to that one.
Yeah, no, I think it should win. I think Sojourner has stolen so many hearts as a character, and has already been like brought into the mainline DC like storyline just because of how great she is in this. Mm-hmm. And it's N.K. Jemisin who does an amazing job. Jamal does a great job. Like it's just. I read it because Liz reads it. Liz gets it, and then I end up reading it, and I really enjoy it, and I love Sojo. So, I got to go with Far Sector. As a backup, I would probably say Barbalian, and the reason for that is because it is Jeff Lemire.
Yeah,
and because Jeff Lemire is in vogue right now with Sweet Tooth.
Well,
being a TV show now?
He's just been building like the Black Hammer series.
Yeah.
Like he's just been like just nonstop expanding on that one. I'd give it to that was my second choice too.
Yeah, not that I've even really read it. That's
me neither. Yeah,
but I think it's the right choice for them to make. You know what I mean? Like to highlight him right now with Sweet Tooth doing so well, and his stuff starting to get a lot of momentum. I guess. Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on. Best new series. I'm so excited for this one because something got nominated that I never thought would have, and deserves it 100%. And that is the first nomination here, Black Widow by Kelly Thompson and Elena Casagrande. The Eisners do not like Marvel very much. So when it does get a nomination, it's usually something you need to take notice of. And I've sung the praises of Black Widow.
Yeah.
And it's that good. It is that good. People should read it. So also nominated. Crossover. I like Crossover. I don't think it should win this award.
Yeah. Only because
it's still a gimmick right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like super engrossing. I'm not like must know what. Like I'm like, oh, this is fun. You know,
if it had been a better off, more closed off first volume where we just get the initial premise, but it's such a blown up thing that it's still too gimmicky.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if it was on continuing series for this on the second volume, we'll see.
Yeah. Department of Truth.
Oof.
Which is, I bet, where your loyalty might lie.
Maybe.
Philadelphia. And really, is this the one your loyalty's behind? We only find them when they're dead.
Again, going back to what I just said, like a great closed first volume. Again, we didn't really know what was happening until like the last issue to really kind of put the last button on it and make sense of like the whole thing where we're just so lost in, and that sweet epilogue. And then now we know where it's not really like the gimmicky thing where we're talking about crossover. It's like we're getting a much bigger, different story continuing off into the second volume. So I'm teetering between Department of Truth for this new series and we only find them when they're dead, because it really was wow. And also just Simone DeMeo, god damn, did you just
if it was best art in new series, it would be We Only Find Them When They're Dead. But it's still too existential for me to really have attached to it. You know what I mean? Like I'm keeping up with it because I want to know what happens, but I'm not like, oh yes, let's do it. You know, and there's no character that's latched onto me.
Well, I mean, that's the point. I think we're just like switching off here. Like I thought we were going to be really attached to like most of the crew, and now it's just like we're barely at arm's length for what happened. You know, like with the whole time skip. But yeah.
Well, plus also, you know me, I'm the sci-fi guy, so I'm picky about my sci-fi.
True.
So, all right, you ready for the hardest competition ever?
Which one?
Best writer.
Ooh, okay. Where is it?
So let's just address the elephant in the room. It's 6 white guys.
Yeah. A lot of lack of women, just women on this list.
Yeah. Now looking at this list, I will say I can understand why these 6 white guys were the 6 white guys chosen.
Yeah.
There's no one that I'm like really like. I've seen people be like, I would have nominated so and so, and I want to ask them, who would you have taken off? Like that's the real question. You know, like there are tons of people. Teenie Howard should be on this list to me, but I love her. Vita Ayala should be on this list. You know, there's a lot of people that should be on this list.
Even Kelly Thompson, I'm not voting for Black Widow.
But with that being said, I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, let's see. You can't take Zdarsky off. He has 2 nominations in Best Series. I mean, you know, James Tynion IV puts out some of the best books in comics.
And also is on 2 categories.
Jeff Lemire, we've already just talked about him. Jonathan Hickman?
At this point, again, like, my argument against the big 2, but it's like he really has been making mutants just the best.
Yeah. And then on the side, he has Decorum.
Yeah.
Matt Fraction? Maybe Matt Fraction. No, Adventure Man. Adventure Man's great.
It was Adventure Man. November, had the
and he did the Jimmy Olsen book.
Yeah, and then Sex Criminals ended.
Sex Criminals, was still going on last week. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep. So again, the one I'd probably take off is Brubaker.
He had similar OGN, like multiple OGNs that were just like big splashes. Like
it's Pulp, Reckless, and Friday. None of which I read. I would take him off because I didn't read any of those. Too. Oh, that's the 3 they have listed. So, but yeah, I've never read any of them, so I can't defend it. That'd be the one. True. If I wanted to take somebody out, I would probably do that
for your personal pick. Yeah,
but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
So best writer / artist. So they do both. This is a lot of indie names that I'm not super familiar with. Although I know everybody knows Junji Ito.
Fuck yeah.
Pascal Jocelyn, who does Mr. Invincible Local Hero. Trung Lee Nguyen, The Magic Fish. Craig Thompson, Ginseng Roots. Adrian Tomine, The Loneliness of a Long Distance Cartoonist. And the one who should win, Jean Lewin Yang for Dragon Hoops.
Oof.
Yeah, so I love Jean Lewin Yang. So
yeah, but I think with Junji.
Yeah. Best pencil / inker or team.
Oh man.
Michael Allred. Marco Cicchetto. God damn.
Yes.
It's going to be hard to get past that one. George Corona for Midwest. Bertrand Gattiganol for Pistovi. Mitch Gerards / Evan Doc Shaner for Strange Adventures. And Sam Brigade for Bitterroot.
I mean, yeah. Bitterroot looks amazing, but Marco Cicchetto's Hell's Kitchen has been my favorite Hell's Kitchen in probably ever or in the longest of times. He just breathes life into
just
Hell's
his
Kitchen.
Electra.
Yeah.
Just his Electra's worth an award. Like, just the hair and everything, I'm like, fuck. like, it's my favorite thing in comics visually, so... Yeah, I gotta go with Cicchetto, man.
In this case, yeah, it's going to Cicchetto for me, too.
All right, so we're like I said, we're only going to go to the major ones. Now we're ready for the first snub that we noticed. Best cover artist. Jamal Campbell, who did the Far Sector covers. They're great. Mm-hmm. Simone DeMeo, we only find them when they're dead.
Yeah.
You can't argue that. Mike Huddleston for Decorum.
Okay, the covers are dope.
Dave Johnson, Butcher of Paris. Peach Momoko. Fight me if you think she should not be on this list, by the way.
Oh, no, absolutely. As far as
and Ramon K. Perez for Stillwater. So my question to you.
Yeah.
Where's Stephanie Hans?
True. Yeah. Where is Stephanie Hans?
Like, that's the thing. Her covers. That's what she's known for. And they're incredible. And
maybe it's because I don't know Butcher of Paris, but that would be like my one, like, sub it in for. Yeah, for Stephanie Hans.
I put her over Decorum. I've seen Decorum's covers. They're great.
Oh, yeah. No,
but Stephanie Hans.
Yeah, Mike Huddleston deserves to be on here. Like, those Decorum covers, I'm talking shit about not making sense of the book or not knowing what it's going, but those covers are awesome.
Yeah.
No, Jamal Campbell, every time I look at those Power Ranger books, I want to pick them up too. I want to read them just based on just the first cover, the first thing I'm looking at. And Simone DeMeo, fuck, yeah. I don't know. Some of those variants are just absolutely stunning.
Yeah. Which takes us to our next snub, which is a personal thing for me in Josue. Best coloring. I want to point out there's only 5 nominees instead of 6 in this category for some reason. Laura Allred. Huh?
I see 6.
In best coloring?
Yeah.
I have 5.
Wait, go through the list. I'll tell you which one.
Okay. Laura Allred. Jean-Francois Batelou. Marte Gracia, sorry. Dave Stewart and Matt Wilson.
I see a Gippy one story, Fantagraphics.
Oh, wait. On my thing, they included that as a title for Jean-Francois Batelou. It's not separated out. Okay. So, I mean, elephant in the room.
Yeah, Tamara.
Where's Tamara Bonvillain?
Like I told you, it has to be contractual where it has to be on and off, or else they would just take it every year.
Offensive. That's all I'll say.
In this list, Dave Stewart.
Marte Gracia. The color of Empire was great. The color of X of Swords was great.
Oh, yeah.
But I also have a weakness for Matt Wilson because he does Thor and he did Undiscovered Country. There's not a bad choice in this list.
You know what? You're right. Like, I didn't consider. I was thinking about just Nick Klein, but no, the colors in Thor are awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, there's not a bad choice in this list, guys. No. This is basically what we're saying. So, lettering. Mike Allred. Aditya Bidikar, Clayton Cowles, Stan Sakai, and Russ Wooten. I have 5 in this one, too.
Darren Bennett.
Why did they cut these off? It's so stupid. Yep, there it is. They just cut it off. I see it now. Oh, and Darren Bennett, thank you. I'm going off of comicbook.com so you guys can blame them. I am going to go with...
Y'all have such great lists, too.
I'm going to go with Aditya Bidikar.
You know what? I'm saying the same thing. Aditya Bidikar with Darren Bennett on a close second. Darren Bennett doing, Someone's Killing Children, When They Find Them When They're Dead, Far Sector. So many great books, too.
Oh, Resident, no.
Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh, yeah, Darren Bennett did Vampire. That's what I just realized. Okay, I'll say this. It should be Aditya or Darren Bennett.
Yeah, those are my 2 picks for solid for sure.
Because Vault will actually win something.
Oh, you're right. Never mind.
Because Aditya does Picture of Everything Else in Giga. That was kind of why I chose Aditya. Because I was like, the lettering in A Picture of Everything Else is so awesome. Like, I love it.
Yeah, but then, Darren also has... Shit, no, he has more Vault books. Relics of Youth, Resonant, Shadow Service, and Vampire.
Yep.
And then Winter's Teeth. Oh, no, Vampire the Masquerade, Winter's Teeth is the whole thing. Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, no, both of them.
Yeah, so... we're going to skip a lot of these. One thing I will point out is Wind wasn't nominated for early readers or kids or teens, which is bullshit.
And then it's like, oh, it's by category, by ages. Oh, I get it. And then I kept going to the next one.
Me too.
Oh, I guess it's just a little too much for these kids too. Where the fuck is Wind?
I think that's all the ones that we need to go over because there's a lot. There's a lot of these.
Best single issue out of all of them, the ones that at least they highlighted. I did read Hedra. I did pick up Hedra. It's like a giant magazine-sized issue from Image.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually really, really cool. So kudos to that one. That is my choice for that one.
Nice. All right. So of course, just like last year, I will probably be live tweeting the Eisners when they happen.
Nice,
because I love doing that. Now, the other news story, and I promise you we won't take too long on this one, but
we should.
Anyone who's ever listened to the show from the beginning, back when we were one happy family before there was a horrible divorce, knows that there is one thing that caused me and somebody I do not get along with anymore to actually get along. And that was a little book called Fables.
Yes.
Fables. Okay, you guys know my origin in comics.
Mm-hmm.
But what brought me back to comics was Fables and Why the Last Man.
Oh, nice.
That's what made me be like, I need to get back into comics. And so Fables holds a really important part of my life. I did meet Bill Willingham at Comic-Con one year. He was the nicest dude in the world. I met a couple people involved, a couple of the artists. And like, I have the 1001 Arabian Nights hardback for the Fables crossover, and each story is by a different artist. And my goal is still to get every story signed by the artist that did that story. That'd be so sick,
dude.
Yeah. So still doing that to this day. But Fables ended at 150, and fun fact, I never finished it.
Really?
Because I didn't want it to end. And as long as I haven't finished it, it's not done.
Oh my god, that's how I was with Black Science.
Yeah, I'm just like, no, it's still good. There's still stories out there. And
it wasn't until at this point 3 years ago, Things from Another World had a stupid, dumbass sale where certain stuff was 60% off, and the hardcovers for the volumes for Fables were tagged. I was like, and there was like 8 of them. It's like, that's half of the series. They're mine. And then I was just I vowed to at least like collect them, but at least in sales, because I didn't want to pay that much for those giant books anyway. And it wasn't until I finished collecting them that I finally read them through. And it's like, and then shortly after that we started podcasting. So thank God I had someone to talk to about it too. With because by the end of it, it's like it just leaves a giant hole of like where comics should be, and it's such a great series. So if you ever get around to it and finishing it, let me know so we can just start it from the beginning and read them.
I don't want to. So we're going to get 2 new series out of Fables is why we're talking.
Yes.
The first one is a Batman / Bigby Wolf crossover, which I didn't know I wanted. Now I do. Where they're going to be detectives in Gotham, which is cool. The second is literally Fables taking off where it left off at 151. It's intended to be a 12-issue mini, though.
Uh-huh.
So I have to catch up.
Yeah, you're going to have to. So let's make a giant dope-ass episode about it.
Yeah. Hey, maybe that'll be a good comic book club episode. Ooh, hint, hint.
Yeah, I do the whole journey about it. Yes.
It's the only difficulty is getting everybody a copy of it all.
True.
So, but he not only will Bill Willingham be coming back, but Mark Buckingham is back as well.
Oh my god, yes.
I met him. I actually have a sketch from him signed.
Oh, nice.
It's of the rabbit from the Alice in Wonderland. With the pole and shit.
Yeah.
So,
does it say when it's expected to come out?
May 2022 is when the Fables 151 will launch.
Less than a year.
Yes. The other one, the Batman Bigby one, which is going to be put out by Black Label, by the way.
Nice. Cool.
Is going to be September.
That's cool. I like how because both of them had like their own like Telltale games, and now they're kind of crossing over in comics again. Cool.
I really hope that they maybe this gets us a Fables TV adaptation like we were supposed to get before Once Upon a Time Stole Their Glory.
Yeah, please.
Which was bullshit. So yeah,
and like an actual faithful adaptation of this is not hard. It'll be like the easiest thing.
Yeah, I think it's more likely now with the way Netflix is and Amazon are buying all these crazy properties and making shit with them, like Carnival Row and stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's more likely. So,
the last thing I want to say about this news is, I didn't think it was going to happen. It was ever going to happen. At least, like, not as soon. At least not 6 years after the series ended. I thought this would be like the one Vertigo title that wasn't going to jump onto Black Label, because Sandman did. Is kind of going on right now, sort of. But now we got Fable, so it's like, fuck it. I can't complain because it's one of the best series of all time, and it's like really it's the actual creator. So fuck yeah, I cannot complain. I'm so happy.
Yeah. But anyways, let's talk about some comics, guys. So we're gonna launch straight in to talk about every book that we picked up this week, the week of 6/9/21.
Nice.
6/8 for Disney or DC. Boo, DC. Shame. But we start, and any of you should know this by now, not with a bang, but a boom. Boom Studios. And we have several books. Unlike last week where we had one boom book, we now have several. And me and Josue actually share all 4 of these books.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a good sign for these books, by the way. If you manage to capture both of our attention, that's always a good sign. So,
yes.
First one, Eve, number 2. Written by Victor Laval. Illustrated by Joe Myung-kyung. Colored by Brittany Pierre. And letter by Ann World. So we get the continuing story of this young girl who is destined to try to save the world from climate change after it's already been basically destroyed by climate change. And last issue, we found her waking up from basically a simulation where she's been trained to do everything she needs to do, and her life has been basically a whole lie.
Yeah.
And we found out her father is basically in deep space or in orbit of the planet, and she needs to do something herself there. Why does it have to be her? What is it? Why can't they do it? Why does it have to be a little girl? Why do you have to send his daughter? And we don't know any of this yet. So we also find out a bit more about what happened to the world. We find out about a mysterious disease that basically ravaged humanity, which was really interesting. We get to find out more about her robot teddy bear. This was a really big building issue of telling you, like, answering a lot of the questions from issue 1 while leaving some out there to keep you still interested in the story. I thought it was really well done. If not the most, eventful issue, but I think it really hooked you in from the first one. Did a really good job of that. So what'd you think?
No, I did a good job of just raising the right questions as far as like for this particular story. Like, we already know, like, the clock is already against her. I thought she was going to have like, she's got all the time in the world to try to fix the world, But the people in space started being like, we're just not sure if we're going to be alive by the time she gets there. Like, whatever that bridge is when we get to it. But then we know that there's another thing about the atmosphere that's already against her, and it's kind of like, are you fucking serious? Like, you're not going to make me already just care that much more about this little girl? That's not fair. I kept thinking that it just looked like the Vault logo, her shirt, just with the fish on it. You've seen it with a little splash on it. I just kept thinking about it, and I was like, oh no, it's a Boom.
What cover did you get, by the way?
Sorry, cover A.
I got the Dan Mora cover.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
But no, the world building is really good, and then like it's a nice cliffhanger of like from what I was just alluding to, of like the next part being something against her, and then the cliffhanger we get is kind of like, oh well, shit, like we'll see how we can prevail here, because it's just, I do like this book a lot too. Yeah,
me too. It's really fun. And it would be a good book for kids. I mean, so far it's been safe for kids. Mm-hmm. So not too young, but All right, let's move on to our next book, one of our podcast favorites, which is Wind, number 7, written by James Tynion IV, illustrated by Michael Dialinus, and letter by Ann World. So first of all, Josue, did you get the cover A?
Yes.
I got the cover A, but I also got...
what?
It's Oakley.
Wait, what?
It's Oakley. Yeah, I didn't think it was Wind. I was like, what book's that? I want to get that one. So
Ugly was kind of black.
It's a tarot book, or it's a tarot cover. So, and it's by Ryan Gonzalez. So, yeah. So I obviously love this book. I mean, it's one of our favorites. I think you mentioned in your tweet about it, but I was also noticing how thick these books are. We love how big Wind is. It's so much involved in it. So, and I really like how they managed to take our group of heroes, they give them salvation, and then take it away. But at the same time, they change our group of heroes. They add some more people, and things like that. So there's still a lot of drama. There's still a lot of danger without being, surrounded by soldiers and stuff like that to protect them. But also managing to change the cast really well. Mm-hmm. And I think the new cast members add a really cool dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
So also we get more about the two gentlemen, the two father figures, if you will, and their journey to find the kids. So I dig it. I really, really love this book. Once again, very disappointed it wasn't nominated for a Young Reader Award with the Eisners. Yeah. It's unfortunate. So, yeah. What'd you think?
I for a second, I thought we were like 3 issues into this arc, but I was like, no, this is a second one. The first volume ended on 5, so it's 6, 7, but it's because of these like heavy books. Like, so much stuff is actually able to happen. And that's what I really liked about this. Like, and then, or thinking back on the last issue too, where it's just like, there's a lot of stuff moving along in the story, and at no point does the book feel wasted. It's just like by the time we get to the end, you're just like, aw, like I thought there was gonna be more, It's like, I always want more from this book. And it's like, again, kind of a travesty that I wasn't nominated for literally anything.
Yeah. If there was one book that was snubbed, it was probably this one.
As far as book-wise, not so much creators, this one for sure.
Because the categories that qualified for it should have easily been not acknowledged, Mm-hmm. Like best continuing series, that's every comic book out there.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get snubbed there, but it's the best all ages book out there.
Yes,
one of them. Well, probably, yeah. I'm trying to think of another one, but yeah. Next up, Magic, The Gathering, number 3. I got that.
That's a cool cover,
Planeswalker variant. Yeah, it's pretty dope. What cover do you get?
Just A.
A, gotcha.
I'll never feel bad about getting cover A because it's just Mateo Scalera, so it's like, fuck yeah.
I'm pretty sure this one's Jacob Rebelka. So, okay, written by Jed McKay, illustrated by Iguara, colored by Ariana Consoni, and lettered by Ed Dukeshire. So we got this continuing adventure, and the 3 Planeswalkers / Guildmasters are working together. They're deep in the depths of Ravnica, adventuring around. I really like the bit with God, I forgot her name. The Medusa chick, the serpent chick. Yeah. The stuff with her and Jace.
Yes,
and it's like, what do you see in him? She's like, I can kill people to look, and I have to do so, but he's never been afraid to meet my eyes, not once. I'm like, oh.
He looks back at me. It's like, oh man, that's all it takes. Medusa.
That's really sweet. Like, oh. But yeah, we get a journey through the underworld, like I said, and then I know Josue had something to say about the House Demir, which is our ultimate goal. So
I told y'all, I fucking told y'all we ain't that bad. We're assholes, but we ain't that bad. Now look at this. Look at these ruins. That's the House of Demir, people. We didn't do anything. No, that was a good little like psych out. Even though we kind of knew who the villain was, but now I'm like, oh man, now we don't even got a place. Like now I'm wondering where Lazav is, the actual, or my commander, the guy running it.
Yeah, really interesting. I'm enjoying it though.
I like this issue where it kind of showed, except for Vaya, but they almost just like alluded to what she can do. They almost kind of wanted to egg her on to see if she would do it. But you actually got to see like our 3 main players got to showcase their power. Like it was pretty cool to watch that part.
Nice. Yeah, I like it. It's such a great reintroduction to Magic lore for me. I'm really, I know the goal is to sell cards, and it's working. That's what I'll say. I've definitely, I'm like, I could get some cards, and I'm like, you don't know anybody here who plays. Like, you would just sit on those cards. You know what I mean? So
just wait for me, Keith. I'll be there with my decks.
Yeah, we'll just set up webcams and play. So, all right. Last boom book, Proctor Valley Road number 4.
Yes.
I got this cover.
Oh yeah, same.
I think it's the A, and it's
A.
so much dread. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah.
Such a great cover. Written by Alex Child and Grant Morrison. Illustrated by Naomi Franquise. Colored by Tamara Bonvillain. Lettered by Jim Campbell. So the curse of the landlady starts catching up with the girls in different ways. For instance, they see their reflection and they look all rotted and like zombies. And one of them tries to drink some milk and it's like tastes like it's spoiled. And basically, they're slowly being psychologically tortured.
Also,
meanwhile, the entire
going around town, yeah,
yeah. And meanwhile, the town thinks they killed the boys. So they're like, well, we're going to prove that we didn't. The cool thing is they start finding out that other people have seen the landlady. It's just no one's listened to them either. Mm-hmm. So that's got to be nice for them to know they're not crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, so,
kind of comforting.
Yeah, which is great. And then they get like a spirit board to talk to the dead, but they have to trade Cora's quote Converse Chuck Taylors. And I'm like, oh, I love Chucks. They're great. And then I love that bit, like one page later, when do you want her birthday next week? Some Chuck Taylors.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you fucks. So, and then, yeah, it's just, they just slowly get tortured and everything. Also, this page is just horror personified with the old butcher dude coming out of the fucking thing, the gramophone. And the way his face looks like it's just absolutely horrifying. So yeah, basically you find out there's way more to the horror and the haunting of this all than we thought. Then they're caught in a building that's burning down, and they get saved. Now, I didn't go back and check. Is this guy appeared in the series before?
God, honestly, I can't remember.
I can't remember. Yeah, maybe it's a new character. That's cool. But he appears to be a young native man who does stunts on his motorcycle because he's a badass, and he saves them. And he saves them, and then they go talk to his grandmother, and she gives them like some more advice of being like, yeah, don't fuck with the landlady. They're like, yeah, what if it's too late for that? And then in the middle of all this, they have a massive falling out because, of course, two of them like the same guy, and then all the other problems they have start bubbling to the surface, and it gets really sad, and all their friends leave, and Cora's left alone. And it's really the worst possible time for them to break up because Seriously. They're all being haunted. So I really like this book a lot. It's so much fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Even like the haunting scene with like the butcher and the ghost coming out, and like the whole time he's just like doing his whole like monologue, and like and by the end he's basically just, it ends up with him reenacting his last moments, like the way like the roller turns into like the shotgun, and you turn the page, and it's just like, you basically visualize the splatter, like what just happened. It's like it's really fucked up. But again, it's almost like borderline a YA book, and it's like it's a fun one.
Yeah, definitely. Always worth a pickup. Proctor Valley Road,
yes.
Especially if you like horror. That's not too much.
Yeah,
you know. And if you've been enjoying, oh my god, my mind went blank. Spectre Inspectors.
Oh yeah,
they're very similar to each other, mm-hmm. and they're be very good companions to each other. What are you saying?
Oh, I was Proctor Valley Road just pushes it a little bit more than Spectre.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to switch publishers, and we're going to talk about Black Mask Studios. We have one book for Black Mask this week, and that is Alice in Leatherland.
Yes.
Number 3. Okay, so created by Yolanda Zanfardino, as well as written by her, and drawn by Elisa Romboli, also created by her as well. So it's Valentine's Day, and Alice, we know Alice is like the most romantic, love is magical, everything's a fairy tale person. So obviously this would be a day that she really loves. And she comes out of her room. She's like, Happy Valentine's Day. And I want to say, first of all, I really like the fact that they didn't spend issue upon issue having her acclimate to this new reality of her roommates being, right. You know, like having a sub and all this stuff. Like, it literally was done off screen, and it's fine. Like, because that would have gotten really tedious and might have caused me to dislike her a bit. If she's like, I don't understand your sexual, thing. Like, no, they just got over it and told us the story. So I love that. I absolutely love that. I love that the sub says good morning to her.
Yeah.
Like, it's just great.
For a second, I was expecting a punishment because he was speaking out of turn.
Spoke out of turn, yeah, exactly. And I love that everybody in the house adores her. Like, it's almost like she's their pet.
Almost,
and they're just so happy when she walks in. They're like, it's Alice!
Well, like, that second panel, she actually looks just that much smaller, like an actual like house pet.
Yeah. She actually reminds me of one of my best friends, who is a lesbian, actually, and acts a lot like her in a way.
Oh.
And is short like her, is kind of shaped like her.
Yeah.
And is adorable, and I would die for that girl. Like, we've had some really hard fights with each other, but I would also kill any person I know for her. So she inspires loyalty like that.
Oh.
So, but yeah. So yeah, we basically get some more development, and Alice has a very important presentation at work today, where she's got to present a sex toy, and she does such a good job until she says, "It's a perfect gift for Valentine's Day because that is a celebration of love, and this one is definitely a product full of love. You know, the kind of product you could never betray. How could you cheat on something that's so full of love?" And then she starts crying. I love it. Like, it's just funny because, I mean, there are some people that are just going to be sentimental about love all the time. You know, that's just who they are, and that's who she is. And, you know, I like that she's not changing. You know, she's still herself. You know what I mean? Like, I really like that. But then her boss is just like, all right, we're going to take some sexy photos of you. And damn right, they did. They took some sexy photos of her and set up a dating profile for her. And yeah, basically, also we get one of her roommates provides the tutorial on how to avoid creepy dates on the apps. And it's a lot. But all of them are true for the record.
All of them are so fucking true, dude. Yeah.
My personal favorite was mysterious types like, I don't open up easily and you have to discover me slowly. Fuck that. This isn't homework.
I was cracking up at the super fucking basic one. Indiana Jones statements such as seeking new adventures.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, and then who does she find? But her artist friend looking sexy as fuck. Yeah. And her quote is, "You can choose your father, but you can't choose your father, but you can choose your daddy," which was just like very on point. So basically, she's just trying to find a relationship. She goes on a date that's disastrous. We don't really want to tell you why, because you should read it yourself. It's hilarious. She goes on another date. Basically, in the end, she discovers that maybe the best love sometimes is self-love. And yeah, has a good Valentine's Day. Is what I presume. So
yeah.
But yeah, and then we're slowly seeing the overall arc coming together. Obviously, I ship the fuck out of these two. So yeah, what are you thinking, Josue?
It was pretty much like the next part where we kind of like just glanced over to for the end. It's when she finds Robin's dating profile. At that point, it's when the book really started to lose me. Like, her sending the super passive aggressive message for literally no reason is when the book really started to lose me. And then the dates were kind of a problem. Like, honestly, like, that first date, it was just like, she just comes off very, God, it's very insulting, but it's very fucked up. But in this case, Alice just comes off very prudish. In this case, in the first date, I get that it was never going to match up. Like, that fitness girl was not for her. Yeah. But when the big reveal and like the whole ta-da, to just run out like that, like, it is, again, we had just established that she's been at her work for months, and she's still basically uncomfortable with like the whole thing. It could have been an icebreaker, like, hey, I work in this in this environment, and it's not really my thing. It could have just been a conversational piece, but no, she literally just dips out. And then the next girl isn't all that better either. Oh no, don't get me wrong. Hold on, before we get to the next girl, then she decides to go into her fucking like because she's a writer, and she writes the most bullshit story where she basically lies about the whole thing. That's literally not how it went down at all. Like,
it's her self-reflection of how it went on down, though.
Yeah, and it was just complete bullshit the way she put it. Like, she was just like painting herself as a victim when she was just like, the other person was trying to be understanding from the get-go. And then
she's a flawed narrator. She's not perfect. I mean, that's the whole point. Like, if she, if she was telling the story exactly as it happened, there'd be no need for her to tell the story because we're already being told the story. You know what I mean? Like,
but then she does it again with the next girl. And then even then, like, the next girl, just because the next girl wasn't up to her standards, she literally decides to leave, like, in the middle of it. It's like, that's more, it's one of the most insulting things ever. I only feel bad for her. And then decides to insult her more by being like, hey, don't worry, I have a girl you think you're gonna love. Which, like, first of all, you don't even know this girl to even like want to set her up on a blind date that you didn't even like. That's kind of fucked up. So I honestly, I just did not like Alice like in this issue.
Yeah, I think she is flawed. I think she's gonna come to grips with her responsibility in things.
Yeah. I was telling
like, let's just say we don't know why her and her girlfriend broke up. We don't know why her girlfriend dumped her or cheated on her.
Right.
What happened to their relationship? You know, like, so I think that's going to be something we're going to explore.
I know she's kind of messed up and like from that situation too. But then now in this case, we're kind of treating Robin as like, not even as like the B story, but she just had like her own C story by just being confused on like, hey, why is this person treating me like a girlfriend when I'm not? And then I'm just getting this reaction when it's just like completely uncalled for. And it was just like, oh my God.
Because to her, everything is romance and everything's meant to be. And when it doesn't work out, that's frustrating to her. So I can understand where she's coming from. And I understand where you're coming from too, obviously. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think being in a relationship with somebody like that is a challenge on its own.
Yeah.
And I think that's the direction we're going with the story, is that she probably even might think herself above these other people who are just about wanton sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, what she wants is kind of childish to them. You know what I mean? So I think it's about different perspectives. And I think it's going to revolve around her learning a lot about the real world, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think the ultimate relationship that will work for her is one that meets in the middle. You know what I mean? So I think that's where we're going with it. Yeah. And they can't make her too perfect.
True.
Because she's already adorable. Yeah. So there has to be something wrong with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. I just was like, yo, you're just fucking bouncing like that. Like, I was telling Soji, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have just like binged all of Sunstone in one almost in one sitting, because that's like literally like the high pedestal of like a sex positive book.
Nice. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on. But first, Josue.
Oh yeah.
I'm weak.
What's up?
I'm fully caught up in Destiny New York.
All of it. Oh my God.
It's incredible.
Oh shit!
It gets so fucking good.
Oh man, I can only imagine.
It blows my mind. At one point, each issue is a different season of the year.
Well, that's cool.
It's done in such a great way. Oh my God, I love it. It's so good. And you meet new characters. There's things I'm going to tell you off camera at some point, because I don't want to spoil our viewers, but it's just great. So, all right, but we're going to move on to Aftershock. Josue, tell us about the brand new #1 Bunny Mask.
Bunny Mask #1 by Paul Tobin as a writer, Andrea Moody as an artist and colorist, and Taylor Esposito as the lettering. Check out the info page. Hella red. Blood red.
Good shit.
And rightfully so. It has one of the most like brutal openings, like where I literally have to like close it back up, because it's one of those like gore things where it even gets me, because I don't even want to fuck with that. It's a dad who's going to do, I guess, a dental operation on his daughter. And he does, just literally cracks the front teeth. Like, puts one of like, just like...
Oh, God, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just tell you this right now before you continue. I have a tooth thing.
Ooh,
so don't hold up any photos of cracked teeth or anything for the rest of this review, because it'll freak me the fuck out.
Okay, it's not even like the theme for like the rest of the issue.
Okay, I'm just throwing that out there, because that just made me fucking openly shudder. I was like,
I saw it, and because it even got me too, dude. I'm reading it, it's like, oh shit, all right, it's kind of fucked up. Wait, no, and then crack is like, okay, and then all right, let's see what this is about. And yeah, crazy fucking lunatic does this to his daughter. Next page. Two child protective services people are on their way to this house, and they're just going back and forth. It's like, yeah, I guess like the little girl hasn't shown up for school in a couple of weeks, and now pretty much they're just following through with, I guess, an investigation, because like, what the fuck? And the dad opens the door and he's like, yeah. It's like, oh, Leo Foster, this is so and so. Would it be possible if we could? And just immediately stabs the lady, the child protective lady, and like, what the fuck? And goes up to the next guy. And next thing the guy knows, he wakes up in a cave. And I guess we'll just call him Dad. And the dad just pretty much says like, hey, you're pretty much work for me. Your job is to just keep digging. Like, here's a pickaxe. Just keep going through this tunnel until you reach the end. He's obviously crazy. He's looking for something. But at the very least, this guy is not going to be alone, because he's also making his fucking daughter like work at it too. So they start building a relationship. and dad kind of sees this happening, and then after a day, the next day, and one of the days, little girl doesn't show up, and now the guy's kind of like, yo, hey, where's the little girl? He's not going to get answers. So he just keeps digging. He literally keeps digging for like a whole month. Like he kind of keeps log of like the days. By day 31, he finally cracks a hole onto the other side of a wall, and he finds a giant room with a bunch of cool carvings, or just some carvings. Also a bunny for some reason. There's a title, bunny mask. But anyway, as soon as he's trying to like piece together what these carvings are, kaboom! He gets shot by the dad. And the dad's like, oh shit, you found it. That's awesome. Thanks. Now I'm going to have to pretty much kill you. But thanks for doing all the work. And then we get the actual bunny mask. Like she just emerged, or this person just emerges from the shadows. And they just keep asking, is there sickness? Like over and over. Or like when someone replies, and like the first guy's like, oh, what the fuck? Like, the fuck is this now? The dad is like, also just confused. And like, is there sickness? And the guy's like, the hell, there is sickness. Like, there's this sick fuck. And it's like, and she goes, heal the sickness, and just goes after the dad, and just disappears back into the shadow. But before doing so, she creepily comes back up from the shadows and just like licks his gunshot wound, his gunshot wound, and he just pretty much passes out, and he comes back to medics and the sheriff. They basically found the whole thing. And we cut to today. It just is a whole time skip to today. To today being that these whole events, the whole first half of the book was 14 years ago. And the guy that escaped ends up picking one of his friends from like a shitty date. And on the way home, he literally just slams on the brakes, gets out of the car, because he starts seeing all of like the actual like bunny person. Because before they took him away in the ambulance, they were like, oh, and look for there was another person, the person with like a bunny mask, but they couldn't find this person. So he finally sees this thing 14 years later as paintings, and he's going through the exhibit, and he's like, oh shit, like what the fuck? Who's the artist? And the artist kind of pops up like behind him, and is like, oh, are you a fan? And they just look at each other, it's like, oh shit, it's you, and it's the little girl. So it's like, oh shit, I guess she did make it out in her own way. They, I guess, like they need to catch up. So they set up like not a date, but like they're just gonna meet up later, like like we'll just say tomorrow by the next issue, basically. So cool, like that's cool. We come back to the foster house, to which has just been abandoned after like 14 years later. The sheriff just had that hunch to just go and check in, because like just something never really felt right. And as they're investigating, they fall through the fucking stairs, and they find the cave. Because one of the last things also there's like, it's like, yeah, there's a lady and in the cave, but nobody could ever find said caves, like at least like where they were. And so now he was like, oh shit, like they were right, they were caves. And then what's weird about it is that I guess I will show you some teeth, but there's these caves, and they find these rooms with a bunch of like weird moths in them. And the cliffhanger is like they find some bodies, because that's where the dad was disposing some of the bodies. One of them being B. Foster, the actual little girl. So we'll see who the imposter really is by the next issue. I was actually like pretty creeped out by this issue. I really like this one. So yeah, good shit for this one. Good stuff. Nice. Good stuff. Aftershock.
Nice. All right, let's switch it up to Image.
Yes.
Not a lot of indies this week, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to pay for it next week. But we're going to start with Image Comics. I have a solo book. Mm-hmm. And that is The Six Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton, #1.
Oh my god, can I just say something before you go into this book?
Sure.
I had a story about this book.
Is it about this cover?
It is about that cover. It is definitely
Which is about the Pride cover, for the record.
It is about the Pride cover.
Okay.
When I go get my comics on every Wednesday, first store I hit up is always, first and foremost, Books of Pictures. Shout out to Books of Pictures. I love you guys, always. And recently, they got a new hire, and because of it, Nick, Fabulous Nick, couldn't, like, he wasn't the one to do inventory for all these new comics. So he wasn't the one to just kind of put stuff in people's boxes that he knows people would like. And in the process, getting the variants he would have bought, or at least like put one aside for himself. Yeah. One of them being,
or something he knows you would like,
or something that he know I would like, which has happened a lot of times. Thank you, Nick. Yeah. But in this case, it was he wanted this cover or this variant, And it wasn't until like the two people before me in line got that cover, and he rushed to the back while I was still looking for mine. And he was trying to find an extra one, and they had literally taken the last one. So I was like, I feel bad for him. That sucks. He didn't get to have it. So I go to the next store. In this case, I won't say which one. And in the process, I'm getting the remainder one, swapping out the variants I don't want. And then I'm waiting for the last section where the new issues are, because there's a dad and a son going through finding comics. It was like, like let them take their time, because wouldn't that be nice? until the fucking dad literally goes, "Oh, I'm just gonna, because I don't like that," and like literally covers the fucking Pride variant. He literally just goes, "I'm just gonna, because I don't like that," and just covers it. And I'm fucking fuming, dude. I'm fucking pissed all over again right now. And if it wasn't for the owner already dealing with her shit in the front, and like pretty much like the customers not knowing how to handle the fucking cart thing, I would have fucking made a scene right then and there. But oh my god, dude, like I was just so fucking pissed. I immediately just like I got that variant for Nick, and then I got the other one to put it back in the front, because like, oh god, I was just so fucking pissed at that. And I went back and gave it to Nick, and it just made it so much better. And then we had and then I got to hug it out with Nick, and it was nice.
Nice.
So yeah, now you can tell me what this book is about.
Okay, so basically there's a guy named Trigger Keaton, and he's like the world's biggest action star. Or he's the world's most unlikable action star. Is the way it should be put in. And he is found dead. He hung himself.
Oh shit.
And the primary people that the people that are trying to figure out who they think he was killed. And it's the 6 former sidekicks he had in his shows. So the first one is a kid named Paul Hernandez, who played a kid in his show called Martial Art. Yeah.
Nice.
And his name is Tough Munson. And so basically it's this whole like kitty thing, and he saves the kid from some bad guys. And then you see him actually punch one of the stunt doubles straight in the face and break his nose.
Oh shit.
Like Trigger Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you can't keep doing that. And he's just like, that's their job. And he's really shitty about it. He's like, I'm going to keep doing it. I don't give a shit. And then the little kid, Paul Hernandez, is like, hey, Mr. Keaton, I've been really practicing. Did my punchies look better? And then Keaton fucking leg sweeps him out, drops him on the ground, and says, no one help him up. Make him get himself up. Like, they don't help somebody, I swear I'll karate chop you straight in half. So he's just this fucking asshole, right?
Mm.
And then you see him talking to the producer. He's like, we got to replace the kid. Get someone with more physicality. And then he's replaced by Terry Komodo, which is this guy. Okay. So, Terry is the new, basically recasted character, same character, new cast, and he actually is like a big, tough, strong kid, and so he can be tough like Trigger. And they seem to have some kind of friendship, but we don't really see much of it. So I bet they had a falling out too. Then we actually jump forward to sidekick number 6, which is this gentleman who actually finds the dead body.
Okay.
And he is going to be his sidekick as a detective on a detective show, like a CSI type thing. And his name is Miles Nguyen. And he's the one that figures out it's probably a murder, because he sees clues. He's like, I had to basically go to detective school to play this part. Okay. And they're like, you're a fake detective. He's like, no, look at this. Look at this. He's like pointing stuff out, and the cops are like, don't worry about it, man. And he's just like, what the fuck? And then then we meet Tad Haycroft, sidekick number 3. And it's funny because they're like, hey, yeah, I was the sidekick on Sidecar. And he's like, you didn't have a sidekick on Sidecar. He's like, I was the car. And then he goes, you were Skippy? And then they keep showing like old TV guide ads for each show when they describe them. And it's like, vroom, vroom, wrongly accused ex-cop Carson Gray, Trigger Keaton, is on the run in a car with artificial intelligence. And then right beside it in the same panel is always like why it was canceled.
Yeah.
And it was like, Sidecar not renewed after Trigger Keaton's very public drunken collision. Studio says we feel it would be in poor taste to continue a car show after this incident. So yeah, it's just basically all these things failed. And then there's a girl, her name is Allison St. Marie, and she joins him in like a sci-fi one that was canceled. with a quote of "Imagine a drunk, doped-up gorilla, and that's what it's like to work with Trigger Keaton." So, and then the last one, Richard Brannigan, who worked with him on a wild new drama that was canceled. Basically, it's assumed that because Richard Brannigan's black, it's assumed that Trigger Keaton was racist to him.
Oh, okay.
And basically, the new sidekick doesn't hate him yet, so he's like, "We need to solve this murder," and all of them are like, "I have zero interest in doing this." And so basically, it's going to be them solving this murder, and it's actually really goofy and funny. Like at one point, a bunch of stuntmen punch Paul, the first sidekick.
Okay.
And the second sidekick dude, the big burly one, defends him against the stuntman. And he's a stuntman. And they're like, "You would assault a fellow stuntman for a real actor?" And he's just like, "Man, calm down." He's like, "This means war, Komodo. Stuntman war."
What the fuck?
So, and it's just really goofy and fun, but I really, really liked it, actually.
Nice.
It kind of reminds me of...
I can tell you exactly what it reminds me of. It's Terminal Punks. It's kind of our style.
Oh, gotcha. It gives me like Ludacris vibes without being insane.
Oh, as far as that. Okay, yeah.
like that's kind of like Ludacris was so much for me. I think this is just about where it should be. You know what I mean? Like so. But I don't think I went through the creative team. Written by Kyle Starks, drawn by Chris Schweizer, colored by Liz Trice-Schweizer, and edited by John Moisan. So. Really dug it. It was really cool. I enjoy it. The characters are very unique. Yeah, just a lot of fun. So, next up, Josue has a pair of Image books.
Yes.
Let's talk about The Good Asian 2.
Good Asian 2. Man, this is going to be a good drama. If I can find the team. It's probably in towards the back, which makes no sense. Because I want to... Okay, there it is. Pornsog Pishode as the writer, Alexandre Tefengi as the artist, Lee Lutheridge as the colorist, Jeff Powell as the lettering and designer. All right, this is telling a really good, I don't even want to call it drama, but a really good fucking noir crime thriller from the 1930s as the Good Asian perspective. Only it's like a good play on words, because as the Good Asian, he really teeters that line, at least like how to be a good cop and a bad cop, and again, how to be a good Asian. So in this case, he's like his kind of his whole motto is still trying to figure out who killed his mom, especially how like I think how she died too. But in this case, at least in this issue, we're throwing a new player. We're throwing in a new player, a new antagonist, and we'll see how much of a player he actually is, because it's almost like a running legend right now in I guess in this case in this Chinatown, and it's Hugh Long, which is like just a hatchet man, and he's just like a really like, too good like of a hatchet man, which is why like people don't believe that he's real. Just it's almost like say his name and he'll come. So he's still kind of almost like now kind of after him too, or at least like a gang is like has basically hired him because now it's like a new murder mystery, and there's like a really sweet, a really dope double page spread of like a flapper party, or just like a really dope party back then. Yeah. And then he encounters his sister, rather his adopted sister is there too, and she's just like really shitty. She's very prejudiced towards him as they were growing up, and there's like flashbacks towards it, and now she's just has this animosity. It isn't really openly racist, just like we'll say like these like bullshit things, and then at the very end they have a fight, and at the end she just drops that maybe daddy hasn't been all honest with him, especially about mommy's murder, and he's just like, what the fuck? So that's where we're at right now. And she's like, again, it's just starting, and it's just like so much being thrown at you, especially because it's just like it is a well-timed book being out right now, especially like in this climate right now, and just like just to see the story being played out is just really cool.
Nice. And what about the return of Ant number 12?
Man. Do you know anything about this book?
I know Eric Larson makes it, which makes me interested.
Okay. Well, Eric Larson picked it up. I guess the original creator was Mario Gully was the original creator of Ant. Mm-hmm. And so this is Ant number 12 in this case, written by Eric Larson. So I know nothing about this book. I just knew it was kind of like a revamp of said title. So I was like, you know what? Let's just give it a go. And yeah, I'm literally just like reading the words, turning the pages, because no context whatsoever as far as like who these people are or why I should care. But at the same time, it's starting to paint a kind of an origin story, like towards the endish, and then you do get Erik Larsen's just like letter page about basically the whole situation and like what this character is and why do Ant now. And he basically bought the IP from Mario since it was just it went through so much, like, I don't want to say development hell, but this book went through a lot. And in this case, there was an idea here for Erik Larsen that was not well executed the first time around. So basically the first 11 issues were just sporadic. Like there was supposed to be a mini by Mario, and it was fine. And then other people wanted to kind of pick it up too with Mario. So they kind of kept adding more to the story. But the thing about what Mario did from the first issue is that he basically just invented the character and just kind of built from there. Like Ant was already Ant. Like she was already her hero. There was no domino effect of characters or development, really. So everything that got added on was kind of like, well, how does this really make sense? Like there was no actual chronological cohesive storyline here. So that's an issue that Erik had with the book, and it just kind of kept going. And then by issue 11, for issue 11, for issue 12, it was Mario was writing it with somebody else. They had a falling out in between making 12. They came to Erik to kind of finish drawing it. And in the falling out and the process of falling out, Mario wasn't getting back to Erik. I guess he was just really bad at texting back. He's pretty much Mario is like the worst person to text back or to email back to. So basically, after the falling out happened between Mario and the other guy with one of the characters that was implemented into the story was the other person's creation. Now they couldn't use that character, and basically now the first 7 pages that were already made before Erik were scrapped and completely gone. There's so much bullshit that happened, so it pretty much just stayed dead. And then by the end, Mario was still kind of like wanted to do it, but Erik was just like, I kind of want to do it by myself. So this is him tackling it now, and what he's going to do with it now. This is issue 12. The next Ant issue is going to be Ant number 1, and now fully by Erik Larsen. And what he's going to do is that he's going to kind of paint the bridges or put the bridges where they weren't there from the original run, so that by the time his issues of 11 going to 12, it'll come back to this 12, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Like he'll be retelling basically like how like the original 1 through 11, but because those are all kind of jumbled up in their own way, he's basically going to kind of make sense of that. So by the time we get to 12, it'll be coming to 12 from both ends. It's
like you didn't really read Chew, right?
No.
Chew did this thing where they jumped ahead like 12 issues.
Okay.
It was just randomly they jumped 12 issues, and you're
Crazy.
Like, what?
Yeah.
And everything's different, and then they went back and showed you how they got there.
Oh,
it was
cool.
awesome.
Nice.
I loved it. So that sounds familiar, yeah.
And also, like, and I love going to Image because kind of like it was my first source to get my books that weren't about capes and tights. So I never really had my Image superhero book really. And it's like, you know what? Let me get a good taste of like the classic, and just like at least go a little bit of a throwback with this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I can recommend you some Image superhero books. They're old school though.
Yeah.
I was actually going to talk about it. For those who don't know who Erik Larsen is, he is the creator of Savage Dragon.
Yes.
Which is one of only 2 Image books that's still going from the formation of Image.
And that was the thing too, like in the lettering too. So apparently Ant did appear in Savage Dragon like a couple of times.
I would believe that. There were a lot of crossovers with Savage Dragon. And he was actually publisher. He ran Image for a while, for like 5 years.
Oh, nice.
But he's like, I can't keep making Savage Dragon and be publisher. It's a full-time job, basically. So he stepped down. So
yeah,
I'm fascinated with early Image. That's an episode we're going to have one day. It's just talking about early Image.
That'd be dope.
But I really like him. I'm a big Whilce Portracio fan. I like Mark Silvestri a lot. I like the big ones, the McFarlane, Jim Lee, Layfield. Those are the ones everybody talks about, but honestly, it's the other 4 that fascinate.
It's the other guys? Cool.
Yeah.
No, apparently Ant had crossovered with Spawn and Savage Dragon at one point or another.
That's one cool thing about Image is like, even though they're all completely separate universes, you want to do a crossover? Sure. Like, there's not much of a negotiation needed, you know? Like, I like that. So nice. All right. Next up, a book we share. Let's talk about Carmen, number 4. I love this book so fucking much. Everything by Gilliam March. We'll just get that out of the way. That's the creative team, Gilliam March. So we get a window into the world of Carmen.
Yes.
And I bet you really, really dug that. That seems like straight up your alley. Yeah.
It was just so cryptic.
Yeah. It's interesting because we meet her like supervisor, if you will.
Uh-huh.
And once again, it's a different body system. This one is like the digestion system.
Yes.
So I thought that was interesting. So yeah.
But she's still rocking like the heels, like the little shorter heels, but like they're still like, what fashion is this?
This was an emotional ride for me.
Mm-hmm.
So we have our recently deceased, and she basically knows she's going to be moving on soon, and she's trying to accept it. And she's listening on somebody else's conversation and realizes it's the girl that's dating Zisco, the guy she loves. And she's like, "What?" And she broke up with him, or he broke up with her. And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know what's up with this and all this." And she's like, "Wait, what? No." And she's like trying to talk to her, and of course she can't because she's dead. And she's trying to get her attention. She's like, "Please don't make me touch you," basically.
Yeah.
And then the girl touches her, and she sees it all, and it's basically like, you know, what's going on between them. And it's like she finds out that, like, you know, basically the girl that he left her for, the girl that he's actually in love with, is Kata, our deceased person. And he did it with it'd be weird to go ask for advice about the girl I'm in love with from the girl in question. And that's when she realized. And it's heartbreaking because we know she took her own life, and she really was going to get exactly what she really wanted. She just overreacted and was being overly emotional. And it's just so fucking sad. Like, so now she's determined to go see him and like talk to him to explain or something like that. And so she runs. She has to basically find her way into his apartment. She runs into his parents. You know, they close the door in her face. All this, and she finally gets up there, and he's sitting there leaving a voicemail for her while she's standing there listening to it. And she's trying to. She wants to reach out and touch him, and she stops, pulls back, and then the big white circle is right behind her, looming, ready to take her. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, for someone like me, I have a real problem with mortality. I have a really existential problem with it, the concept of it.
Okay.
And it's something that's on my mind a lot as somebody who's, you know, not mentally healthy.
Yeah.
This comic fucked me up, and I really, really liked it. It was so good. Like, I 100% understand where she's coming from, and not from the suicide portion of it, for the record, if anyone's wondering.
Yeah.
I'm way too selfish for that shit. But yeah, just like, she just messed up. And there's no going back. You know what I mean? Like, that was brutal to me. Like, so I'm so curious to see where this is going to go. I have a thought.
Okay. I have a thought here.
I had this thought an issue ago. And I thought I'd sit on it and see if I still think it's accurate. And I still feel it. So I'm going to share it now.
Do it.
I think she might become one of the Reapers.
Like, it'd be like a decision, like either crossover or be one of these positions. Yeah.
Because they're showing us a lot about the organization.
Mm-hmm. And there's a sense of rush now to have her rush over.
Yes. So they're showing us a lot about the organization, and there's really no reason to show us that if it's not going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, like in Something That's Killing the Children, for instance. We don't need to see the House of the Dragon unless it's going that direction, and it went that direction. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what my thought process on that is. So I'm curious to see where this goes. But I think that's my theory. But I'm not like convinced of it or anything like that. It's just a theory I have. So what about yourself? What do you think, and what do you think of that idea?
Well, I mean, like, the idea is like I'd buy it because there's that sense of rush, and there's almost like where I was going to go with it. I don't know, like I can totally see it happening, especially with like her kind of like her revelations about everything and just kind of keeping around like what she kind of like offer to new people, especially in this situation, or like how they can kind of like help them cross over too.
Mm-hmm.
My thing about in the issue though is that I don't think she ever saw his movies. This dude, there's on one of the flashback scenes in his background, he literally has Before Sunrise and Reality Bites. This dude was probably such an obvious dork, but to her, he was probably just like really, really just too cool. The man was basically Ethan Hawke. The man basically wanted to be Ethan Hawke.
Hey, for the record, I want to be Ethan Hawke.
Dude, we share the same birthday. I want to be fucking Ethan Hawke, dude.
He's one of the people I've always liked the most as far as
I'm not saying anything bad about to be Ethan Hawke. The man's fantastic.
I was like, just saying, for the record, I'm watching right now.
I'm just saying the whole setting in French, the posters. If she probably sat down and watched the movies with him, she probably would have seen the whole cool facade and just being like, "Yo, let's just be together. Stop being a dork."
Yeah. And the Before trilogy is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, absolutely. So
breaks my heart. The last one, I openly weeped watching that last one. It kills me.
The fact that you just have to feel the time. The fact that they took their time to make those movies. God, so good.
I'm also a massive defender of Boyhood, by the way.
Oh, I love Boyhood. Don't get me
went on a rampage when it didn't win an Oscar. Or didn't win the Oscar, I should say. Actually, I didn't care about Best Film. It should have won Best Director. Linklater should have won.
Absolutely. For that attempt, yes.
I think it was beaten by Birdman, which
as well for picture. Hey, Birdman is
for
awesome.
Best Picture is Birdman.
Okay, that's fine.
Birdman is awesome. I think it was beaten was it Gravity for director?
Oh yeah,
I want to say
if Quadon took it from him, yeah, kind of shameful on that one.
So, anyways, we got off topic there. So. Yeah, I really, really loved it. It emotionally affected me pretty deeply, and I really, really love this book so much. So, all right, last Image book, and it's a big one. Let's try not to spend too much time on this, but I know we will. Die number 17. Written, of course, as always, by Karen Gillan. Art by the wonderful and snubbed Stephanie Hans, and the lettering by Clayton Cowles. So, our last issue, we left off, and originally, obviously, we found out about the Bronte sisters.
Yes.
Then we met H.G. Wells, and now we met H.P. Lovecraft, which is a complicated figure.
Yeah.
More so than the other two.
Well, for sure.
Easily. First of all, his work alone is very controversial, in that you either really like it or you don't at all. And it's funny because Love of Pages recently reviewed my recommendation of a Neil Gaiman story it's basically a Sherlock Holmes short story, but done in a world of elder gods from Lovecraftian fiction. And it was very clear how polarizing it is because some of them did not like it at all, for the record. And one thing I really like is, and I think this is why I think Lovecraft works a lot better written than shown, is I don't like Lovecraftian elder gods to be described.
Okay.
I like the mystery of it. Like, he never really tells you exactly what they look like.
Right.
It's always like a horror of tentacles and mouths and eyes. He's never like, they have exactly 18 eyes. And, like, it's never like that. It's more in your imagination. So visually, Lovecraft bothers me.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm like, it's supposed to be, he can't describe it because if you visualize it, you would go insane.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so, like, that's one of the things they brought up. One of the people in Love Pages read it and was like, oh, visually, or like, I don't like there weren't really descriptions of like what the Queen of England looks like because she's an elder god, spoiler alert. And I'm like, it's kind of the style though. You're not supposed to know what they look like. You know what I mean? You just know they're supposed to be horrifying, basically. So that being said, I'm not a big Lovecraft guy.
Yeah.
And by Lovecraft, I mean the style, not the man.
Right,
Let's make that clear. Not a big Lovecraft guy. I know you were well more of one than I am.
Yeah, I'm more of like the style and not the guy.
Yes, exactly. Neither of us, for the record, like the guy. So, but we do see him here, and he's at his most Lovecraftian.
Oh yeah,
with his eyes sewn shut and being all creepy and mysterious. And I was kind of worried because I'm like, oh no, is the last arc of this book just going to be Lovecraft for 4 issues? I'm like, that would be a really like damp squib of an ending for me. I'd really not like that, No. So Izzy gets a message from which goddess was it? The Dreamer.
Yeah.
It basically said, you don't need him anymore, kill him. And so she does. She kills Lovecraft. Now, for the record, this is a reflection of Lovecraft. It's not the real Lovecraft. So they're about to get attacked by all these Lovecraftian creatures. They teleport away deeper. And then they're next to a lake and tentacles start coming out. And I love the line because I fell for this so hard, Josue. And I was so delighted when I found out what it was.
Yeah.
The line, "Oh, tentacles, they were overdue. No Lovecraft without tentacles." And it's just like so great. And there's a gate and they're trying to get the gate open and the thing in the lake is attacking them. And I'm dumb and I don't put this together at all. And they're like trying to figure it out. And there's this killer shot. That fucking squid eyes was fucking insane. And then of all people, okay, so for those, I realize we didn't set this up at all. Okay, so this is the one with all the people that do the role-playing game. You know what I'm talking about. So remember Saul, because we don't talk about him when we do these reviews a lot.
Yeah.
Saul's the bad guy, but he's also one of them now. He's the Grand Master. Of all people to save them, it's Saul. And he says, it's not a Lovecraft creature. I've been this way before. The dungeon. I know how to get in. And then Ash says, then get us in. And he holds Ash's hand and says, friend. And the door opens. And says, oh God, we're delving too deep. Oh my God. I got chills now talking about it. We're actually going to Moria. Like, we're actually doing a Lord of the Rings crossover and die. I'm so excited, guys. Like, oh my God. It's so good. God damn, this book is good. Like,
honestly, I want to know when it clicked for Kieran to be like, oh, thank God I can just like segue out of this guy, because he also has stated that he's not a big Lovecraft fan either. But at the very least, in this scenario for this book, it's something that should at the very least be incorporated into it. But I love that he just like whoop as soon as he got the chance, because he was like, honestly, I fucking love the part where Lovecraft says a fucking line, and I love what's her name. And I love Ash's monologue. There we go. Part of me would be disappointed if Lovecraft didn't say something at least low-key racist. And like, cool.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
they're addressing it. It is what it is.
Yeah,
and he was a pretty important part of,
cosmic horror
and also role playing. Like Call of Cthulhu was a big deal. You know what I mean? So it makes sense for him to be involved, but I like the way you put it. Getting him out of the way quickly was a great idea. So, and also Chuck. Not only that, but just caving his head in, which is great.
Boom! No, fucking Chuck being the one on top of this story, just because it was just like more of his alley, was actually really cool.
But it was also bad luck for Chuck.
Yes,
he's not being random; he's being calculated.
Yep.
Which that hasn't come up in a while, and I almost forgot about it. So it was kind of cool when it did. So yeah. But yeah, Die is incredible, and I still can't believe it's going to end.
I know. Three more issues, right? Supposedly 3 more issues?
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to move on to our big 2.
Let's do it.
And we're going to start with DC Comics. Josue, tell me about Wonder Woman 773. I almost picked it up this week. You want to know why?
Yeah. Why?
The cover.
Oh, wait.
That Pride cover?
Oh, the Pride cover. Man,
I almost got it for the Pride cover.
The Pride cover was good. I almost got cover B. There's like these almost like realistic covers to them, and they look like just like very Magic the Gathering setting. And in this case, it was just like her nuzzled up with fucking what's his face, Augustus. The man is just gorgeous. Like, spoiler right now, the man is just gorgeous.
Yes,
like this should be Diana's love interest. She's just amazing. And it was just like one of those like hyper realistic like portraits of them too. But it's like, no, I gotta go with cover A. Love the series. Maybe if there's more extra money next week, and if it's still there, I'll get it. But right now, it is Wonder Woman 773 by Michael W. Conrad and Becky Cloonan. Art by Travis Moore, colors by Tamara Bonvillain, and lettering by Pat Brazu. This is After Worlds, my LARP, part 4, in which Diana settles her adventures in Asgard. Oh man. So she went to go fuck with the Valkyries because they pretty much just weren't doing their job. They weren't laying the souls to rest so they can come back, or at least and do Ragnarok and Valhalla all over again. There were just less and less souls coming up to Valhalla. And in doing so, the Valkyries are pretty much they say this, and we're yeah, we just don't want to do it anymore. And doing so, Thor and the rest of the Asgardians just followed Diana the whole time, and it's you're not gonna do what? And they pretty much start fighting each other. Thor is just fucking an idiot, and thinks he can not fight Diana. Calls her by the Wander Woman.
Wonder.
Wonder, yes.
Nice.
But so they start fighting it out, and Diana just blocks Mjolnir and just crunches it. Because again, this isn't the real Mjolnir. This is Dr. Psycho's enchanted weapons that he's giving them. But it's nice. Right. It was pretty cool to see just Diana just fuck your Mjolnir. This one just felt a little. Maybe I'm just seeing it as my Marvel fanboy, but I'm seeing this one as the dig back at Marvel in this case, just to open up with this first arc in Asgard, which just hasn't happened really hasn't happened in Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dr. Psycho, Wonder Woman gets in Dr. Psycho's head, or at least they have a mindscape fight, to where because he's too worn out by trying to be everywhere with the weapons and enchanting all the weapons, he's just too weak to to overpower Wonder Woman in this case. So now she physically overpowers him, and we have a really good appearance of Deadman again. And I really hope that Deadman is just a constant appearance in this book. He does allude to it, and he's the one that's kind of warning her. Yo, you're pretty much just done here. You did what you kind of wanted to do when we told you not to, and when we told you not to, and you still did it. You're done. Olympus fucking needs you. And she's all right, yeah, sure. But she's not done in Asgard yet. She's pretty much there at the table. So I think the Valkyries and Asgard can just hash it out all over again to see to figure out how shit should be working now. And it turns out that the Valkyries will still do their thing as long as they have pretty much 1 day off. Guess what it is? Guess what their 1 day off is?
I have no idea.
Thirsty Thor's Day.
Oh, of course. I was thinking 1 day a year, not 1 day a week.
It's 1 day a week. Those Valkyries are fucking done after eons of this bullshit. So Diana pretty much just has one last night with sexy Augustus. Oh boy. The man should just not leave. He should just not leave this book. And so she pretty much kind of walks out on him at night so he can just keep resting. She's still gonna leave with the fucking with the squirrel that's supposed to be a trickster. But yeah, there's an eagle ride waiting for her there. But sexy Augustus shows up because he wasn't gonna let her go without saying goodbye. But yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, so she leaves. She leaves Asgard behind and shows up in Olympus. And yeah, Deadman was right. Olympus needed her. Spent too long over there, girl. What the fuck happened? One thing that is of note is that I'm really, really gonna miss her Asgardian attire. The whole cape with the fur, the silver, red, and blue, super fucking dope. As soon as she touches on Olympus, her whole headgear changes, and she's in a toga.
Lame.
I know. I was really fucking loving this outfit, but it's probably through settings or where she's ever at. But man, her adventures in Asgard was really good. Again, that man needs his own book because he's just too fine. Okay, no, and in the words of Atlanta, that man is gorgeous.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, yes. And next up is a couple comics from me. First of all, Challenge of the Super Sons, number 3.
Oh, cool.
Now, once again, John Kent and Damian Wayne traveling around saving DC heroes without their knowledge. Written by Peter J. Tomasi, art by George Corona and Max Rayner, color by Luis Cordero, and letter by Rob Lay. So we actually get a lot of the exposition as to why they're doing this, what happened. They go back in time. They run into Vandal Savage and Felix Faust, who find out back in time that we're going to be bad guys one day, and the Justice League are going to ruin all of our plans. We're going to be jokes, basically. Mm-hmm. So they cast these spells back in time that can kill each member of the Justice League at specific moments. So the only ones that can stop them are Damian and John. And that's why they're traveling around and stopping all these spells, and it's pretty funny. There's a lot of really good jokes, like how John Kent is absolutely ridiculous. He's just too good. And Damian's just kind of an asshole, you know what I mean? Like, it just keeps, there's little bits about it, and there's little character moments that I just absolutely love. There's specifically one where it actually cuts forward, and you find out that they can't tell the heroes because it'll break something, and they're not able to save them, basically.
Okay.
So they have to save them without them knowing, is the idea. So it cuts to Damian, and he's holding a spiked mace. He's like, truth is, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. He's like, my assistant, Superboy. And I'm like, Damian.
Asshole.
And I were transported in the past, blah, blah, blah. He explains it. And he's like, long story short, pre-revenge. The problem is there's a failsafe that if we reveal this to any of you, will mean instant death. He's like, so anyways, hot girl, that's why I'd hit you from behind with your mace. And she's unconscious, and he's talking to her. He's like, yeah. And so then you find out what was going to kill her was she was doing some archaeology shit, and something released a poison gas. Well, John Kent sucked up all the poison gas and is holding it in his lungs. In his super lungs. And then they're like, he's like, we need to get rid of this. And they're, he can't talk. He's like, and Damian's like, what? I don't understand. It's like, fly up and release it up there. And he's like, you won't kill anybody. He's like, he goes like this. He goes, birds? He's like, I don't care if birds die. So they get outside and they're trying to figure out what to do with it. And there's a guy selling balloons. And it's a clown. And literally Damian's quote is, clown, balloons in the name of justice now. And the clown, and then he's like, how much is the red one? And the clown's like, $1. He's like, I don't know. The blue does match his overall aesthetic better. So he barters. They blow up a balloon with a bunch of poison gas, and then they carry it around the rest of the shit. It's great. But yeah, and then Hawkwoman gets up, and she like, they get away from her and stuff. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a really fun ride. Really enjoying this book. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a mini, but it's totally enjoyable.
It sounds like one of the most like golden age comics that they've done in a while. It's
fun. It's a lot of, and shitty Damian is the best. Like, I love him. So yeah. Next up, Detective Comics 1037. So this is continuing the story where a woman of privilege was killed, and Bruce is doing the investigation, but it seems like the city doesn't want him to solve it. Bruce actually gets arrested as Bruce Wayne as a suspect. They think he did it because he found with the next woman talking to her, and she ended up dying too. So they're like, there's a connection there. So, written by Mariko Tamaki, penciled by Victor Bogdanovich, inked by Victor as well as Jonathan Glebion, colored by Jordi Belair, and lettered by Aditya Bidikar. This has been a lot of fun. They're really going into it. Basically, Bruce gets arrested, and he's put in a cell in a police department. And the guy's like, stay here. And he's like, all right. And he leaves, and there's like no cops in the building. He's like, what the fuck's going on? And he uses his watch, which they didn't take from him for some reason, and uses it to hack into the cameras. And he sees outside the father of the first girl that died, who's determined to take vengeance upon him, thinking he did it. He uses a rocket launcher and blows up the police station. He basically told all the cops to leave so he can kill Bruce. Obviously, Bruce survives, and they start a fist fight, and that's where the issue ends. So this is that traditional issue 4-ish area story.
Right.
So not a lot to really go over. On the back end of it, there is another story about Lucius Fox and about like his role. It was a really cool, just like building story. So good issue, but it's one of those central stories that it's not resolved. It's not starting. There's not a lot to really talk about,
Mm-hmm.
So. But that takes us to Batman Urban Legends. Number 4. Okay. Blow through this real quick. Red Hood and Batman, written by Chip Zdarsky, drawn by Eddie Barrows and Eber Ferrara, Ann Marcus Toe, Adriana Lucas coloring, Becca Carey lettering. Batwing story, written by Cameron Johnson, by the way, who plays Luke Fox in Batwoman. And he's very good. He's one of the best parts of that show.
Cool.
Penciled by Loiso Minkaz. Inked by Trevor Scott. Colored by Andrew Dahlhaus. And lettered by Troy Pateri. Tim Drake story, called Some of Our Parts. Written by Megan Fitzmartin. Drawn by Belen Ortega. Colored by Alejandro Sanchez. And lettered by Pat Brosseau. And then Grifter, part 4 of 5. Written by Matt Rosenberg. Drawn by Ryan Benjamin. Colored by Antonio Fabella. And lettered by Seda Timofonte. So, I'll give quick reviews of each of these. The Jason one is continuing to be a really good Jason Todd story.
Nice.
At this point, Jason is captured by Mr. Freeze, and Batman drops everything to go try to save him. He's like right in the middle of something, and he literally just goes to save him, which might go into the next book we're going to talk about.
Oh, no shit. Nice.
Yeah. So just like that change of attitude, I think is interesting. So,
okay.
Jason's frozen solid. We have a bunch of flashbacks to when Jason was killed as Robin.
Oh. And
the choices Bruce made. And you get this whole impression that he's not going to let that shit happen again. That's the kind of idea. Bruce has to choose between saving Jason or capturing Freeze. He saves Jason, obviously.
Right.
So. And Jason's like, you came, you saved me. And then that's when Freeze comes back with, I want to say his character name is going to be Cheer, which is basically Scarecrow, but happy.
Ooh.
Like, instead of making you afraid, he makes you like ridiculously happy. Because the drug that's going around is called Cheer Drops.
Okay.
And it's like the fear gas, but it makes you like so ludicrously happy you'll walk off a building without realizing stuff.
Ooh.
So
Wait,
I like the character design. He looks cool. Maybe he'll take Joker's
kind of
place.
like the Joker, like laughing gas?
Kind of, but it's not like, it stretches your mouth and you die of that. It's more just it's a narcotic. People are using it for fun.
Okay.
So the next story is Batwing, and it's a really cool, fun story. And it's about basically he's solving a Riddler puzzle, and part of it involves him fighting Killer Croc. And in the end, he ends up talking to Killer Croc and being like, Croc is like, I don't like Riddler. He's tricked me into this. Like, and he's like, oh, let's just team up against Riddler. And he's like, all right. And that's basically how it ends, which is really great. But it goes around. It's a lot of fun. I really like Batwing. When New 52 launched, that was actually one of my favorite books was Batwing. I always forget about that one.
That one I don't think about a lot. Yeah, they didn't get a lot of that one.
The next story is about Tim Drake. So you can no, I don't mean to be a dick.
Was it a passable story?
You guys know I just don't like Tim Drake. It was fine. The problem was he's perfect again.
Oh, okay.
And I hate when Tim Drake is perfect. It's just really annoying. So, but he meets an old friend, and they meet up, and basically it's going to be a multiple part story. They get attacked, he gets knocked out, and his friend is kidnapped. So we're going to see where that goes. And then we get the penultimate episode of the Grifter saga, where Grifter teams up with Deathstroke, where they fake a fight, and that to draw Batman to stop them.
Okay.
And then they're going to work together to take out Batman.
Oh my god.
And Superman shows up instead. And they're both
Idiot.
like, shit. And like Deathstroke is like, you don't pay me enough for this, and just bails immediately. Like, he's like,
that's
fuck
awesome.
that. Yeah, so meanwhile, Grifter's also trying to protect Lucius Fox because he's supposed to be his bodyguard. So good stuff. It'll end in the next issue, which I'm really sad about, but we'll see. So I wanted to run through that quick because it's 4 different stories. And I wanted to get to our next book, which me and Josue share. Future State Gotham 2.
Yeah, now we do. I mean, we did then, but I didn't read it yet. But holy shit.
Yeah, I was like, this is your first live review of this book.
Yeah.
So, written by Joshua Williamson and Dennis Culver. Art by Giannis Milogiannis. Letter by Troy Pateri. Once again, this is in black and white.
Yes,
and it's done in that amazing Akira almost style we talked about. So, this is set in the future state future, and where the rest of the Bat family, including Living Lightning with his badass sword. How great is that character design?
It was cool, yeah.
Yeah. And it's spoiler, Tim, not Living Lightning, other one, that's Marvel, Black Lightning.
Black Lightning.
Living Lightning was an Avenger, and Dick. And they're basically like, hey, you're a traitor, you're working with the Peacekeepers. He's like, you don't understand, basically. Try and tell them they don't understand. In the end, he manages to get away. And then we see Tim and Dick have a conversation where Dick is like, you think I was too hard on him. And once again, Tim is the reasonable one. And I'm so sick of Tim being the good guy. I'm really sick of it. I don't like it. He's such a like pompous ass.
Yeah.
But we find out the person who Jason is taking orders from is Bruce.
Yes.
Jason's the only one Bruce told he was still alive. He's the only one he trusts.
See, I thought we knew that kind of.
It's timeline wise, though.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
At this point, they didn't know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So he's the only one that knows, and they're like, "You're the only one I trust with this," And he's probably, to be honest, Jason's the only one that probably could get in with the magistrate and actually.
Oh, totally.
Like if Dick walked up, they'd be like, put him in jail, basically. Like, we don't trust you. You're not, you don't have a reputation for being an ass. You know what I mean? So we also see the reference that it's after Immortal Robin because Tim is immortal.
Yes.
Perfect. can't even be hurt at this point. And then we do see that basically Jason's whole mission is to capture the new Batman. He goes to Blackgate Penitentiary. He meets up with the Arkham Knights from their run, and they've all been captured. The new Batman shows up. They're about to fight when the Arkham Knights break out, and now they're going to have to work together. And so they're going to basically find out, what each other's motivations are and probably start getting along. So,
or at least get the new Batman's alibi on what the fuck with the bomb.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then also we see there's a backup story at the back with the new Batman being beaten by a bunch of racists before he kicks their ass. So,
oh man, no, this is so cool. No, honestly, I fucking love this book, and
it's great.
I've been saying it's like I just don't want to buy a Batman book anymore. I just like take my good fresh break on it. I fucking love this book so much. Like even like down like reading reading the first one, and then the backup story to that one by Katsuhiro Otomo, the actual creator of Akira. It's like, it's like, yo, DC, can I do whatever I want with Batman? It's like, yeah, sure, as long as we can like do an homage to Akira. Yeah, sure, that's fine. I'm just gonna go fucking crazy with Bruce on this one. And it was bonkers. It makes no sense, but in the end, it's like, I'm not Batman. And it's like he's emerging from the fire. And now in this one, the backup story is drawn by fucking Olivier Coipel.
Yeah.
Which is like, and I love it when I get my Marvel artist coming over to the other side and doing a take on a superhero, and it's like, oh, this looks so fucking cool. I love this backup story. I love this whole book, the whole premise of it, and I just like I do really dig that it's in black and white.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I know we were kind of like joking around originally, like, oh, I thought we were done with Future State, but this is actually one of the best things of Future State for the record.
Oh, for sure.
So, also, that backup story was written by John Ridley, the guy that did 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, the director of it.
Nice.
So. Also, I got to give a quick shout out to one specific pinup. This is fucking beautiful.
Really cool.
It's Rafael Grampa, and it's just awesome, sketchy Batwoman.
Batwoman, yeah. That cape
I would blow that up
cool.
on my wall, dude. That would be so beautiful on the wall. Oh, I love it. So, good shit. All right. Finally, last DC book. Oh, boy. We're going to go through this as quick as we can. We promise. We love you all. DC Pride. I'm just going to knock out the creative team now. First book. James Tinney in the fourth writing. Trung Lee Nguyen, artist. Aditya Bidikar lettering. Steve Orlando writing. Steve Byrne artist. Josh Reed lettering. Vida Ayala writing. Skylar Partridge drawing. Jose Villarrubia coloring. Ariana Mayer lettering. Mariko Tamaki writing. Amy Reeder drawing. Marisa Lewis coloring. Ariana Mayer lettering. Sam Johns writing. Klaus Janson drawing. Dave McKegg coloring. Tom Napolitano lettering. Danny Lohr writing. Lisa Sturl drawing. Enrica Aaron Angiolini coloring. Becca Carey lettering. Sina Grace writing.
Woo!
Rose Stein and Ted Brandt drawing. Aditya Bidikar lettering. And Nicole Maines writing. Rachel Stott art drawing. Enrica Aaron Angiolini coloring. Steve Vaughn's lettering. And finally, Andrew Wheeler writing, Luciano Vecchio art drawing, Rex Locus coloring, Becca Carey lettering, and a whole bunch of pinups. I'm not going to go through that list. So, this is obviously the celebration of LGBT in DC.
Yeah.
I will, before we even get started, lots of really cool pinups in this.
Yes.
So check them out. They're wonderful. So, we'll go through very quickly each one. The first one is a Batwoman story, and it mostly focuses around her and her sister. which was explored in the first season of the show really well. So most people will be very familiar with this. I really, really dug this. It also deals with the fact that she, coming to grips with who she is growing up and everything like that. I thought it was really cool. I thought the art style was incredibly unique. And I really, really enjoyed it. It was almost like Sandman art.
A little bit. I like that I read this one first, because then when I read Gotham, that grandpa pinup kind of reminded me of this. So I really dug it.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, did it kind of allude that Mad Hatter might be still closeted?
Yeah.
The way it was worded in the end, I was just like, wait, but that means it's directed to him. So does that mean he just doesn't want to come out yet? And that's why he gets all like, no, and gets all more stabby.
Yeah, stabby. Yeah, no, definitely. Second story is, oh boy. So it's got Constantine.
Yes.
We know that much. But Constantine is literally just a setup for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about Midnighter. So I knew Midnighter was going to get a story. I hoped Apollo would be in it as well, but I guess he's not involved in the story. So, but this is really cool. It's about them taking out a vampire dude. It's him and I forget this guy's name.
Not Doctor Strange.
He's not Doctor Strange. This is what we're saying. God, I know it too. Oh God. Okay.
It's his first name, Gregorio.
Whatever. He's a magic guy. Yeah, Gregorio. Let's just go with Gregorio. And basically, he's telling a story of when he teamed up with Midnighter. And then they go to leave, and Constantine is walking with them, and he's like, "Hey," the guy goes, "I'm married, by the way." He's like, "Then invite him along."
he's all about a werewolf.
It's all but settled then. It's so great.
Dude, you're only making this sweeter. Keep it coming.
And then we get a story. This is the Vita Ayala one. This one is my girl Renee Montoya as the Question. I loved this story. It was a lot of fun.
Really cool.
She saves a defense attorney who's running for counsel that she knows, but she saves her as the Question. In the end, she saves her, and the defense attorney knows it's Renee the entire time, and actually kisses her on the mask. So there's lipstick smudged across her mouth, which I loved that.
Really cool.
Yeah, I love the Question. I there's a thing that goes around a lot. Like, if you could write one character in DC, the Question. There's not even a different answer for me. I would write a Question book.
I've been so curious about the Question Black Label books, like those big ones, those big books.
Yeah,
it's by Jeff Lemire too. It's kind of it should be good.
Yeah. Then we get a Harley Ivy story. I've made it clear that I don't really like Harley and Ivy together.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I don't mind them. I mean, I love that they're both, LGBT. Mm-hmm. But I don't like them together because I don't see what Harley brings to Ivy's life.
Oh, that's right. That's your take, yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's just a convenient story to tell. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Ivy deserves better. I don't know. But that might be my hatred of Harley, but which is softening thanks to Stephanie Phillips and Riley Rossmo for the record.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, basically they have to work together to tame a plant, and it's cute and fun, and it's done very similar to the ongoing Harley Quinn book, which I'm reading, the one with Stephanie Phillips and Riley Rossmo. So, cute stuff. Didn't mind it at all. So inoffensive. Then we get probably the sleeper story for me. Alan Scott and Obsidian. Mm-hmm. So Green Lantern and Obsidian, father and son, both gay, and both of different generations. So that's kind of what the story is about Alan Scott's first crush when he was a young man and how he came to grips with it. And I love the whole thing that it's really good. And basically they just share their information. He said, I love the bit right here. Obviously it's the big climactic moment, but when Alan Scott says, "When Jimmy died, I had to go at that alone. Now I see that maybe I didn't have to, but at the time I did what I thought I needed to survive. Does that all make sense? You were the light in the darkness. You're the reason I came out. I know your life isn't easy. It might never be, but you'll never have to face those feelings alone again." And I'm like, fuck, that just hit me like a train, dude. Mm-hmm. I love Obsidian. That's one of the things we talked about when the New 52 happened and they announced they were bringing Alan Scott back and they were going to make him gay. And I was like, are you getting rid of Jade and Obsidian?
Yeah.
Because no, thankfully he did have kids. So cool. I'm fine with it. So, also this print, the Constantine print.
Hell yeah. It went everywhere on my timeline on Twitter. I was like, hell yeah, keep it coming.
Yeah. Then we get Jess Chambers Flash, non-binary Flash with Aqua Girl,
Yes.
Aqua Woman. She'll be mad at me if you're going to say Aqua Girl. And it's basically Jess preparing for a date, trying to find an outfit. They get a version of their own Mirror Master, which they're very excited about. They have a fun fight, just a very flashy fight, you know. And then they're only a minute late for their date, and it's cute. And the little fashion show they put on, excellent.
Oh, totally. It's so adorable.
I was like, these are all very cute outfits. I dig all these. So that leads us to Pied Piper in Be Gay, Do Crime, which might be the name of our episode this week for the record.
Do it, yes.
And we get to see Pied Piper and Drummer Boy. And this was a lot of fun. This was the Cena Grace one.
Yeah.
And he's been hyping it up for a while now. So I really enjoyed it. A lot of fun. Not a character that gets a lot of attention. But yeah. And then I'll be flat out honest with you. We get to the highlight for me, which is Dreamer. I'm a big fan of Dreamer in the Supergirl show.
Oh, because you watched the show, yeah.
Yeah, I really love that show. And I really like... so Nicole Maines, who is a trans woman, is the one that wrote this. And
Nice.
she's the one that played the character.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So she got to write her own character, which is a lot of fun.
That's dope as fuck.
Yeah. And not only that, not only the gimmick of that, but the art is fucking incredible. Like this shot
Yes.
is absolutely beautiful.
I was trying to follow it the way it moved, yeah.
I absolutely love that. And so I love Dreamer's powers because she is a precog when she sleeps, but also can fire blasts of energy, which is something they had to learn later on to do. Like, so I've seen the progression of this character. Basically.
My question is that since we're in the DC universe, and it literally says she's tapping into the dreaming, is that the dreams dreaming?
It's an excellent question.
Okay.
It's not addressed in Supergirl, obviously, because...
Right, okay.
You know, but the other thing I really like about Dreamer, and this is interesting. So you didn't watch Supergirl, really, right?
No.
Okay. This is interesting. The alien race that Dreamer comes from, the women of the race get these precog powers. Only the women.
Mm-hmm.
Dreamer was born male and has a sister. And the mother was one of the precogs, so everybody assumed the sister was going to get the powers. Dreamer then transitioned to a woman and got the powers.
Yeah.
So this is actually a fascinating idea because it's not just acknowledgement that trans lives matter and, you know, or anything like that. This is DC outright telling us trans women are women for all reasons that matter. And that is fucking incredible. I love that they make that statement.
Fuck yeah.
Like, and it's just a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed her arc in Supergirl. And I just love it. And I love the romance with Brainiac. That was one of the highlights of that show for me.
Nice.
Because like I like Brainiac because he doesn't really care, you know?
Right.
It was never like oh, you're trans. There's never a moment of that. Brainiac's like, I like you. I'm Brainiac. Like, why would I have an emotional problem with this, basically? So, and then the Catman.
Yeah.
Dear DC, give me a Catman book, for God's sakes. I love Catman. He's so great. Like, he's just excellent.
I also love what they did. It's like, yeah, no, I still need to question him a little bit. So is it okay if we just tag as along as the third wheel for the date?
Yeah.
They got that Dreamer pizza
there watching the movie. Like, yeah. And then we wrap it up with a final story with Jackson Hyde, Aquaman, who, by the way, bonus comic book news, is getting a series with DC.
Wait, who? Really?
Jackson Hyde, Aquaman. They just announced a series today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't miss that.
Or Aqualad or Tempest or whatever name he's going by. So, but yeah, and then this is the one where they kind of bring in all the Pride characters together and have a big fight. So very cool. Love it.
The actual JLQ.
And then they have a couple profiles in the back of some of the characters, some of which weren't actually featured in the book. So that was fun. I remember I saw Sarah Lance. These are all the live action ones, by the way. So Sarah Lance from Legends of Tomorrow, who is amazing. Yeah, just really cool. I really, really enjoyed this. Good job, DC.
Honestly, it was actually a good shot, a good attempt. What coverage you get?
Same one.
The same one? Cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted cover A just because like I wanted to at least support Jim Lee because like you know what, at least he's trying here, but almost by himself. But no, the Jump Bartel cover is just too gorgeous.
That was the only one left, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna go this weekend and see if I can find some variants because
Nice.
I want to get some variants.
I think it's just those two, the Jim Lee one and
I thought there'd be like a bunch because of it being like a big thing. So.
No, the big list is just for the pinups, but it's just them. It's just the two covers.
Oh yeah, Jim Lee, Scott Williams,
Also, they're $10
and Jim
a piece, dude. Imagine they're $10 a piece. Like, imagine a giant list of variants.
I know, man. It was worth it though.
Oh yeah.
So awesome. All right, so that leads us to Marvel. Let's wrap this baby up. We don't have a ton of Marvel this week, guys. So Josue, quickly catch us up on Amazing Spider-Man 68.
And I will, because it's just part 2 of this current arc. And in this case, we open up with Teresa Parker, who we left off with the Chameleon at that Russian prison. And the Chameleon was like, nah, I don't think you want to kill me because I have the actual guy that killed your parents, the Finisher. And she immediately starts blasting bullets on him.
Right. As you do.
But he's like, haha, like bullets can't touch me for whatever reason. And just goes into another room and it's like, let's talk. You might have something you can do for me. It's like, we'll see about that. We cut back to Peter Parker and the whole what the fuck on like, what the hell is this Ned Leeds doing here? And he gives us his whole backstory and what happened. And he gives us his like backstory on like stuff that happened from like fucking forever ago. I'm not gonna go like through everything, but it's just like the quick the little details of what it was from like when he was Hobgoblin, when he was brainwashed by Roderick Kingsley. Editor's note from Hobgoblin Lives for the full story. While he's still being brainwashed, and then it was during the time while he started in the relationship issues between Ned and Betty's relationship. He started getting more aggro. There was the altercation where he punched Flash Thompson. Editor's note, ASM 275 before Todd McFarlane took over. So it's kind of
I remember this, sadly enough. I remember this.
So like,
I'm all like uncomfortably sitting here like, it wasn't that long ago.
We're going that far back. And then it goes into like, oh yeah, and I was there for like with you, Peter. Remember that one time we went to Europe? Editor's note: Spider-Man versus Wolverine #1. And he's like, oh my god, it's painting all this like thing. It's painting this story perfectly. And then so it gives us the extra backstory of what he was doing in Europe. And he goes to an old Oscorp location for more Goblin serum because he thought his was kind of like fading away, and he just wasn't being like the Goblin he thought he was. And he pretty much like drank it all. And by the time while he was there, he was waiting for it to kick in. He wasn't feeling it. He got ambushed by the Foreigner's men. Editor's note: as seen in both Spider-Man versus Wolverine #1 and ASM 289. So as he was there left for dead, that's when the Goblin serum kicked in. When they pretty much buried him alive. The Goblin serum kicked in, and he came out, and somebody was there waiting for him. And that's the story. So we're just supposed to buy that from how long ago? Even in Spider-Man times. And so everything's all right. And Betty's pregnant now. And I guess that happened at one point or another. And everything's okay. For right now, Ned is asking a question. Yeah, apparently something to do with a boy named Jimmy Tolentino and about a device called the Clairvoyant. Peter Parker's lab partner for the device. So he's like, oh shit, I gotta fucking go, guys. Like he always does. And so he kind of knows where he needs to go. He goes to Empire State. And in this case, Jamie's there kind of like to steal Dr. Connor's tag so he can get in somewhere that Connors can. And it's pretty much like to go get the Clairvoyant device. Spider-Man shows up. It's like, yo, where's Jamie? He's like, oh, he was just here. He just went to the bathroom. So he crashes through the wall. They pretty much like, it's a whole setup of villains that trying to with Chance, the villain Chance. He wants a Clairvoyant device. Spider-Man shows up, crashes a party, but now it's Spider-Man versus a bunch of goons, like a bunch of fucking jack-o'-lanterns, Chance, and then just like a slippery dude. Again, another callback to a fucking villain that just like, who thought about this guy? I'll think about the name in a second, but again, like Nick Spencer bringing out a bunch of villains that are just like long lost forgotten. Backstory is Otto Octavius searches for Sandman. He finds him, and they go away together. And the Sinister War is coming. So quick issue
I'm excited.
yeah, I mean, me too, dude. Especially
I
because
might jump on for the Sinister War, actually.
yeah, because did you see the whole double spread on the ads in your issues? Yeah, it's like, holy shit. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool.
Nice. Awesome. So that's your only solo book. Now I'm gonna launch into mine.
Nice.
First one, I'm surprised Josue didn't pick up, but I guess he does buy enough Spider-Man books. Web of Spider-Man #1.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. Maybe I come back to get it. Maybe I'll come back.
So Web is an acronym, for the record. It's Worldwide Engineering Brigade.
Okay.
It's one of those forced acronyms, like SWORD.
Oh, totally, yeah.
So written by Kevin Shinick. Artist is Alberto Albuquerque. Color artist is Michelle Rosenberg, and lettering by Travis Lanham. Cover is by Guruhiro, who does the Thor and Loki Double Trouble book, by the way.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I love him. Basically the story is Spider-Man always saves the world by punching people, but he's really smart too.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets... Also, I should point this out. I don't know if this is in 616 continuity or if it's like an aside to continue. It's weird.
Okay.
But basically he gets recruited into a group called Web, and as Peter Parker, but it's in a world where Tony knows Spider-Man's Peter Parker.
Okay.
And he shows up to this like lab where they're going to do the research, and he gets a little robot buddy who's a little robot spider. He's cute.
Nice. Okay.
And it's funny because he's like, "Welcome, Spider-Man." He's like, "I'm Peter Parker." He's like, "Why do you think I'm Spider-Man?" He's like, "Your voice patterns match what I have on file for Spider-Man, aka Peter, Parker." He's like, "Let's keep that Spider-Man part a little secret." He's like, "Certainly." Switching to whisper mode, and then the robot, the rest of the thing is just whispering the entire time. He's like, "Very good, Parker, Peter." He's like, "You can just call me Peter." So they go in, and the team is Anome, which is a Wakandan young engineer woman, daughter of one of Wakanda's greatest engineers. So I'm wondering if it's someone we know. You know, Luna Lafayette, Moon Girl.
Nice.
And Harley Keener, the kid from Iron Man 3. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought too. I was like, okay. So, and they're all working together, and it's kind of a fun. It kind of reminds me of Power Pack. I obviously didn't love it as much as Power Pack because Power Pack's one of my favorite books ever.
Yeah.
But basically, it's the four of them, and they have to work together. And originally, they're all kind of doing their own thing. Also, Squirrel Girl joins them, even though she's not like a massive intelligence person, but she joins them. And in this world, she doesn't know Peter's Spider-Man, so I'm trying to work out the lore here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be its own self-contained thing, but yeah. They get attacked by some computer viruses, and they have to work together, combine their powers, combine their inventions to basically save the day. And it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a thinking book. You know, they're all going to use inventions and stuff. It reminds me of X Club, which no one read but me because I'm an X-Men nerd. But basically, it's like X Club was the really smart X-Men. So it was like Beast, Dr. Nemesis, and Kavita Rao, and Box. I forgot Box was there too. And basically, they were solving during the San Francisco years of X-Men. They were solving all the scientific problems the X-Men had, like how to get the island off the ground floor of the ocean, and stuff like that. So yeah, I loved that book, but no one else read it, so it got canceled. So anyways, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, very science-based. So next up is Star Wars Bounty Hunters #13.
Oh shit!
Those bastards.
What, you like it?
It's a crossover, Josue. I had to get it.
Yeah.
It's the War of the Bounty Hunters.
Right.
So even though the series has been going on for 12 issues that I've never read in my life, it's part of the crossover, so I have to read it.
Yes.
Written by Ethan Sachs, drawn by Paolo Villanelli, colored by Reef Prianto, and lettered by Travis Lanham. I'm probably going to end up buying every Star Wars book from this point forward. It's bothering me. So anyways, this one is interesting because it's literally about the bounty hunters of the world. So we got Valance and Dengar teaming up. I'm going to go really nerd Star Wars on you for a moment. Basically, they're diametrically opposed. Dengar's a really bad guy. Valance is an ally to Han Solo in a way. So he wants to save Solo, whereas Dengar wants to just, turn in the bounty. But they're working together temporarily to be able to resolve the situation. They're on a planet, and they run afoul of Chewbacca and C-3PO. and basically they're all fighting over it, and Valance is like, hey, I want to save Han too. Let me help you. And Chewbacca's like, stay back. I'll do it myself, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they get in a big fight, big fun Star Wars fight, and in the streets. And at one point, Dengar is just sitting there drinking while Valance is doing all the fighting. That kind of fun stuff. And they're just, once again trying to find it. And they do find that the Crimson Dawn is back, which is the organization from Solo. So that's leading to that. So, yeah, it's more of a setup thing, but I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. And man, I'm looking at all these tie-ins, and Jesus Christ, there's a lot of tie-ins to this series.
Are you just getting tie-ins, or are you now getting I kind of want to read these books too?
For now, I'll just get the tie-ins. But look, here you can see the list.
Oh my God, no, not worth it. Oh my God, no.
It might be. And people get their own books. Jabba the Hutt gets a one shot. Forlom and Zuckuss get a one shot. Boosh gets a one shot.
Hey, don't talk about
IG-88 gets a one shot.
If it's not about Ultra Mega. If you convince me that it's good halfway through it or along the way, I might get the omnibus for it.
I mean, you could check them out for yourself.
Oh, no.
Because you have a Marvel Unlimited account.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
So, you can do that for free. All right, so that leads us to the books we share. And once again, we have 3 flavors of books. First one is The Other. And I'm going to start with Strange Academy number 11.
Ooh.
These books are too distant apart now. I hate it. Like, they take too long to get to us.
Yeah.
Because it's one of our favorite books, and it takes 3 months each time, and I'm like, come on. So, written by Scotty Young, drawn by Humberto Ramos, colored by Edgar Delgado, and letter by Clayton Cowles. Fresh off last issue, where we went to Asgard, wrecked the place, and and then we found out that Toth is now dating Shaylee.
Yeah.
And we were wondering how serious that actually was, or if it was more of a joke. It seems like it was actually a relationship based on what we see in this.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Toth is out late studying. He goes to go back, and he gets slammed into a wall by somebody and shattered. His family shows up, and they can put his crystalline form back together and cast a spell. That's when we find out that his mom told her, or he told his mom about Shaylee.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a real thing to him too. So
right.
They're trying to put them back together, and they realize there's one piece missing, which is the heart piece, and they cannot do it without the heart missing. That brings in Howard the Duck, private investigator.
Yes, if I didn't love this book already, oh my God.
He interrogates all the students. There's some pretty funny moments. I like Calvin being like, I'd like my phone call. It's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I want my lawyer. You don't have a lawyer. It's like, I want dinner then, basically. So, but yeah, they basically interview them all. I love Gus's response of I was outside. I'm always outside. I like the bit with the characters we don't know. The whole thing, I was playing Battle Call,
Oh my God, yes.
Ass. And the second character is I was playing Battle Call, getting my ass handed to me by Harry Styles 56. Just great. In the end, we find out that what I thought was happening, Calvin's jacket is probably the one that did it. Possessed him and caused him to do it, because they find the heart piece in Calvin's pocket.
Yeah.
Calvin starts losing control, and he feels a sudden surge of despair, and then we get this kick-ass transformation.
Oh, hell yeah.
That I know you fucking loved,
Dude,
right?
Hell yeah, I did.
So this is one of the rare Strange Academy stories that's not a single issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of them are one-shot. Some of them are tours. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. I liked it a lot. I'm glad we're getting more about Calvin, because I did want to know more about the jacket, what was going on there, because it's obviously related to the hood.
Oh, yeah.
And the hoods was the demon. So, so I liked it. What'd you think?
I mean, from the beginning, it was seeing Toth struggle with the studies, or just him just throwing his head down. I was like, I feel for the boy. He's really one of my favorite characters, and he has no lines. I either forgot or didn't know that Man Thing was his dad, so that made him infinitely more cooler. So, and then the part where the kids are all just waiting for news, and I just want Eric to just shut the fuck up. Like I hated that in that case Doyle got part of the blame too. Yeah, he probably shouldn't have like yelled, but in that case, like he literally was fucking minding his own business. It wasn't until he was just poking at him, and then like he still got part of the blame. It was just like, can we just not mess with my boy Doyle? Like fuck, like he's fine, and you guys are just making him a villain when he's not. But I love this book, and one of the things I love about this book is that it doesn't try to throw something like Thunderbolts into it, like for no fucking reason.
No shade whatsoever. Anyways, all right, Spider-Man Spider Shadow number 3.
Yes.
Written by Chip Zdarsky, drawn by Pascal Ferry, colored by Matt Hollingsworth, and lettered by Joe Caramagna. What if Peter Parker did not give up the symbiote?
Mm-hmm.
So we get to see Dr. Brock. So Eddie Brock took Dr. Octopus's arms.
No,
and put
Brock Ock.
Brock Ock, yeah, Brock Ock. I like Dr. Broctopus personally. But, and the Sinister Six are fighting, basically going to be fighting Spider-Man. He shows up and whips their ass. Absolutely whips their ass. Kills most of them. But he gets trapped in a building that's on fire, and we know that's the weakness of the Venom suit. Jonah is such a great character in this series already.
Yeah.
Because he's the one, he's like in a big robot suit. He's one of the Sinister Six because he knows Spider-Man needs to be stopped. He dumps him in there. He finds out, oh, it's Peter. And he actually ends up saving Peter after the symbiote's off. And he says, like, damn it, Parker, why did it have to be you? And I'm like, oh, because the J. Jonah Jameson Peter Parker like relationship in comics is really underrated and not talked about.
Oh
enough.
yeah, absolutely.
Like they've been through a lot together. Like so. But yeah, basically everybody's killed except for Kraven and Brock Ock of the Sinister Six. And Peter's free. And we take him back. He's with Mary Jane and Black Cat, and they're trying to work out what's going on. Apparently, Fisk released Spider-Man's identity to the public, and the cops are there to arrest him. Then we see that the Venom symbiote did get away, and where did it appear? But in the Fantastic Four's base.
It's the Smart Man.
And it's taken over Reed and Thing, and we can see that it's broken off and made multiple symbiotes that are colored very much like the separation anxiety symbiotes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So... very cool. I dug this. This series has been a bit dark for me, but I enjoyed it. So, yeah.
It would be what if he didn't get rid of the symbiote in his darkest days.
Yeah. I mean, what if is usually pretty dark.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Second flavor of Marvel, Heroes Reborn.
Should we start with Night Gwen since last week it was all about the Batman?
Yes, that's a wonderful idea. Okay, Night Gwen, number 1. I got this cover.
Oh, that's a cool one. I actually didn't see that one.
Yeah. I saw it, just had to get it. So, because Gwen looks awesome. So, creative team written by Vita Ayala, drawn by Fareed Karami, colored by Eric Arcianega, lettered by Corey Petit. This, I believe, is the Takeshi Miyazawa cover. So
cool.
So basically, what we get is Gwen Stacy. Again, we it's all kind of a pastiche of DC Comics.
Yeah.
In this case, Gwen Stacy is halfway between Harley Quinn and halfway between Batgirl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did a really good job of not having the bad parts of Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Basically, she's a psychiatrist. That's all they really took from Harley Quinn. So, but yeah, basically, her bad guy is the Jackal. I'll be frank, I'm kind of sick of seeing Gwen fight the Jackal, but I'm also a huge Gwen fan, so I see it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not everybody sees it. I am happy that Gwen got a spotlight in a crossover like this because there weren't a bunch of characters that got books, and for her to get her own book was kind of an interesting move. So, but yeah, I dug it. It's her fighting the Jackal, and it had a really cool twist, which I'm not going to spoil because it was very cool. I did see it coming, unfortunately, but it really enjoyable. What do you think?
No, same thing. I definitely saw the on the nose Harley Quinn, but more so Batgirl. Especially that's like just like the cover was just like such an homage to some of like DC's best covers of her. So it's like, yeah.
I love the costume.
Yeah, the costume's cool. Double page spread, like again, like and her costume in action is actually really cool. Not a bad what if series. But yeah, but in the end, it started getting predictable before it even got to the main surprise. No,
but we've also had like 5 weeks of these books that have had these twists.
True, yeah.
So I think we're looking for the twists at this point.
Oh no, it's just like there was just like these panels where it just makes it look obvious, unlike why. But yeah, other than that, no, I actually did enjoy this one. It was one I was on the fence for, but I was like, you know what, like Gwen just has been like just a success story since they brought her back for every other reason of Spider-Gwen, really. So yeah, I'll give it a shot, and it's actually worth my money.
Yeah, I love the art. The art was really good.
Yes.
That was the big highlight for me. So, next book, Squadron Savage, number 1. Written by Ethan Sachs, drawn by Luca Pizzari, colored by Carlos Lopez, lettered by Travis Lanham. I got the David Blatt cover.
Ooh. Oh, no, sick as fuck.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're both great covers. So, this one is kind of the Thunderbolts of this world. And basically, we see Elektra playing the recruitment role, and she's bringing a bunch of people together to stop a big bad guy. And we see Frank Castle playing football with his kids, and he's like, I don't do that anymore. And she's like, do you want to protect your kids? It's like, yeah, and so it goes. And we see the team, and she has 6 people. We keep being told she has 6 people on her team. We see Cloak, we see Crossbones, we see Murder Hornet, and we see her look in a tube and purchase the person in the tube. And I was like, oh, that's Winter Soldier. And then I promptly forgot Winter Soldier was in this comic.
Me
so when
too.
When the reveal happened, I was like, oh yeah. Like I was like, that's really cool. So basically, they attack the Redeemers. And you start getting the sense that something's wrong because Cloak is like, we need to stop Dagger's murderers. And Elektra's like, we will. We're on our way to stop them right now. And I'm like, did that happen off screen? But he's so insistent on it. I'm like, they're trying to tell us something here. We go in, and they end up fighting the Redeemers. And there's one of the characters is called Moonglow. And she starts using her powers, and Cloak is like, your light can't stop me. And we find out that it's Dagger. Dagger is with them now, and that Cloak has been brainwashed. And we see basically what's going on here. All of the I almost said Suicide Squad, Squadron Savage. All of the Squadron Savage have been brainwashed to be used on behalf of these missions, and do what needs to be done. Except for presumably Crossbones, because he doesn't really care, I'm guessing. So even Elektra is messed up, to the point that she did that, and so is Frank Castle. And you find out the big bad is actually King the Conqueror. And they're like, yeah, our 6 people. And he's like, wait, 6? And then there's an awesome moment where Cloak summons in the Winter Soldier and blew my mind. And he takes out Kang real quick, which is great. And then Winter Soldier's face is blown off. So he's around 2 panels.
Literally shows up. Boom, boom. Oh, God. It was actually really fucking cool.
Yeah. And then in the end, you have Elektra, and she's realizing, hey, you've been brainwashing me too, haven't you? Yes, I'm not going to remember any of this. No. And we find out the Secretary of Defense who's running this is Wilson Fisk. Mm-hmm. So this was very dark, but very cool. I really dug this.
Super fucking dark, especially like the padded cell with Frank and like the LMDs, if you will. Oh,
yeah. God. So good. That brings us to our last Heroes Reborn book, number 6, Heroes Reborn. Creative team, written by Jason Aaron, drawn by Erica Durso, colored by Jason Keith. The backup story is written by Jason Aaron, penciled by Ed McGuinness, inked by Mark Morales, colored by Matt Wilson, and lettered by Corey Petit. So we've kind of gone through the Squadron Supreme as they're introduced.
Yeah.
Zarda's my favorite member of the Squadron Supreme. Okay. So what did you think?
She was a badass, but I was like, they're making her a little too much, but at the same time, but then I was liking all of the, I guess, her power structure or her power level as they were showcasing everybody who she's been able to be. And I was like, all right, fine, sure, fine, whatever. She's actually really awesome.
There's also kind of like an homage to like people talk about the origin of Wonder Woman, how it was created by a guy that was into like BDSM and stuff.
That was not so much that last part. She was just written almost too on the nose, like she was just written by a guy.
Well, like this shot.
Oh, I mean that part for sure, but that part
Yeah.
I'm thinking is like I'm thinking, oh, they're doing the Wonder Woman bit. I'm just saying her as a character is just like she's just written like so much like from a guy's perspective.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be a cheesy pastiche of Wonder Woman. You know, it's not supposed to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily bad, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not supposed to be like, this is an amazing character. I love it, you know?
Yeah.
I really love the stuff because she comes face to face with Thor.
Oh, yeah.
And so that whole fight was great. And
okay, but don't
we
get me
find
wrong.
out that
The fucking the page where she was like the Namor page.
oh yeah,
If I had the lungs and capacity to not just like pop like a balloon in the bottom of the water, you bet your ass I'd have a fucking sex session, a fuck session with Namor too. Oh my god.
And then we get lots of little fun things like the invisible sword, which is a cool idea.
Oh hell yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, and just like she punches him so hard, she punches his beard off, like which is just great. Like, and then he gets Mjolnir and stuff, and then he, you know, gets away. And then once again, we get a backup story, and it does revolve kind of around her, but also Thor coming to the Phoenix, or Phoenix coming to Thor and being like, "Hey, let me guess, nothing seems right." Like basically, like we've done this 5 times now. So yeah, it looks like everything's coming to a head. I loved this one because I love Zarda.
The statue
she's very different in this than she was in the original Squadron.
Oh, okay.
She was way more of a peaceful Wonder Woman type. I like the fact that Wonder Woman is a soldier.
Yeah.
And that's something that's forgotten a lot in modern Wonder Woman storytelling. So it was good to see this. So
no, her statue garden was actually really badass. Kind of dark, but really fucking cool.
Yeah. So we only got one Heroes Reborn left.
Yeah, like I'm thinking, like it's like, where's this going? Like it's an event book, but like where's this going? I kind of want this to be like a part 1 of a 2-parter thing, and like kind of still have him around for a second.
Well, the next issue does say that they're going to come face to face with the Avengers.
Yeah, and then we have the heroes come back, not Heroes Reborn,
Heroes Return.
Heroes Return. But I kind of want to see like another mini event or just something to close off another climactic battle than one issue to do it.
We'll see. We're still getting the Weapon X book too, so
yeah.
We'll see. All right. So that brings us to our last flavor.
Party time!
And yes, it is time to party. Excellent time. We'll start with the Children of the Atom.
Okay, I was wondering how you're going to do this. And
number 4. Well, this was only tangentially related to the gala, really. So, Children of the Atom, as always, written by Vita Ayala, drawn by Paco Medina, colored by David Curiel, letter by Travis Lanham. So this time we focus on Daycrawler, and no. Yeah, we focus on Daycrawler. That's right. Yeah, sorry, I was drawing a blank. I thought we were focusing on someone else. And basically we get to find out more about what's going on with them. I'm more and more thinking they're not mutants.
I thought it was Marvel guy because like the stock.
You're right. It is Marvel guy. My bad. They're brothers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was flipping them around in my head, but like step brothers, not real brothers. I think. Yeah, that's the whole purpose of this. Speaking of which, by the way, when you saw this page,
oh man,
how badly did you want to listen to this song?
Yeah, I just wanted to keep going on the comments. No, this whole thing was awesome.
My thing with that is, I was like, don't do that if you're not going to make the song. Because we have an expectation with the indie books where they actually make the song now. So we're like, yeah. So basically we find out more about what's going on. They're going to try to sneak over to the Hellfire Gala using some DNA from a guy they know is a mutant. But they get jumped at the gate, and Daycrawler is the only one who manages to get away. Marvel guy actually saves him, helps him get away. So it's going to be up to him to save him. He's also the only one who hasn't had a solo story yet.
Right.
So that makes sense for them to be the next issue. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I don't think they're mutants. I think they got their powers similar to how the Fantastic Four got them.
Yeah, I mean, back to your question on like, what I thought about them. But we do kind of get like at least like the one page, or like when they kind of get the devices. At this point, their devices, it's hardware on how they get their powers. I'm just trying to piece it together how they kind of manipulate it or just rework all these devices, because the laser thing is a gun, but we know that Cyclops uses them as goggles. So I want to see how they kind of rework all these things.
Yeah, exactly. And did they all get actual powers? Like, how much of it is tech?
It's just the one, And we almost got there, too, until everybody showed up, and it's like, man, what does it all mean? I'm just very curious still, too.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, now we're going to go to the gala itself.
Yes.
We're going to start with Excalibur.
Yes.
So, Josue.
Yeah.
I got cover A.
Yes. This one.
I got that one. Of course I did.
Oh, nice.
And, of course, I got
all of them.
So, let me put those away. All right. I love this book. You guys know I'm a big Excalibur fan. Written by Teenie Howard, drawn by Marcus Toe, colored by Eric Arcianega, lettered by Ariana Mayer. So this is where we find out that Rogue is leaving Excalibur because she's going to be on the X-Men, which kind of answers our question if anyone's going to be able to do more than one team. Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
So a large portion of this book is taken up by three main stories. Rogue joining the X-Men, Psylocke, or I should say Betsy, coming to grips with everything that's happened to her, and Richter.
Oh, man.
So the Rogue one's pretty straightforward, and we find out that Gambit's going to stick around in Excalibur, so we don't have to really go over that much. Betsy shares the dance with Pete Wisdom, who I love, and so you can imagine how I feel at the end of this issue, which we'll talk about. And then also Richter. So for those of us who read X Factor, Richter, or Shatterstar, is freed from Mojo World, is covered in blood and shirtless, but to be honest, is his default state. And he's like, Julio, my love. Yeah. And immediately, that was the name of our episode that week because I loved it so much. And he just shows up at the gala covered in blood and shirtless. He's like, hello, Julio. Surprise, my love. And I'm like, excellent.
As he almost dips him?
Yeah, he dips him. And Richter's like, the fuck are you doing, man? And he's like, I've been busy, So that gets put on hold. We'll come back to that. So we got the Pete Wisdom thing, and they're talking about how the UK ambassador is wanting to break away from Krakoa, and he's also a member of the organization, the magical organization that doesn't want Coven Akaba. That's their name. So it's just kind of like what's going on there. Pete Wisdom's trying to warn everybody, and then he announces we're breaking away, and they're like, you can't do that. We have the Braddock Tower, the lighthouse is on there. That's our land. He's like, yeah, but that's on our land, basically. Like,
it's such
can't
bullshit.
Just come and go. He also keeps calling them witch breed.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So
and it's like it almost seems like the right people got their extra 5 years, so now they want to pull back away. Like, fuck these people.
Also, we get a very heavy hint that Megan is pregnant.
Oh yeah,
it's very heavily hinted at. So,
and then that next page, does that mean with the cancellation of X Factor and what after the trial, do we get Rachel in Excalibur? Like with that dance, and it's like, hey, you're come around more often to the lighthouse.
She was one of the original members.
That'd be cool.
It was her, Kurt, Kitty, Captain Britain, and Megan.
This invite just seemed like as an open invite. It's like, hey, you don't have a book anymore. You want to come over here?
Yeah. So, and then Wisdom goes back with Clown Coven Akaba, and they end up sacrificing him.
Asshole.
Motherfuckers, he better be able to be brought back to life.
Oh yeah, but how would they
magic?
Know? But they don't know. How would they know?
But if you die in Otherworld, you can't be brought back.
Oh,
if you're magically sacrificed, can you be brought back?
Oh man, yeah.
It's in London, so at least it's not another world, but still. And they do that to basically free Morgan Le Fay, who's been in Jamie Braddock's dungeon this entire time. Then we get this badass scene with Richter, where he finally accepts. Oh, Richter is the only one who remembers Apocalypse at this point, and is like, you saved all of us.
The whole reason why we have this party, and it's like, he calls out like, I remember you.
Yeah, it's so great. But Richter goes to the druids who were all about him, and he's like, I never wanted this, but now I do. Let's do it. And they give him a druid staff.
Dope.
A shillelagh, if you will. And he's now the druid king who would wield it. And he's like, to me, my druids, hail. And what he does is he breaks the Braddock Lifehouse off onto an island of its own. So it's no longer part of the UK.
Yes.
Which is such a fucking power move. And then luckily we get closure because Shatterstar shows back up and he's just like, hey, sorry, I brought some beers. And he's like, I should have just been nice, or should have been taking it cool and just been like, hey, you want to have a drink? And Richter's like, come on, let me show you this beach I just made, and they cuddle. And I'm so excited. My heart is so big because I love the two of them so much. So,
yeah.
Yes, wonderful. Anything else you want to add about that one?
It was just really good. I mean, like the whole implication of Rogue leaving. That's why I was so happy. At least I was welcoming with like, at least we get Rachel maybe. And then by the end it was like, who cares if Morgan Le Fay is just escaped? Like, let me just have this moment right now.
I hope Wisdom comes back and joins the team because Pete Wisdom is one of my favorite mutants. I really love him.
That's cool.
The Pride and Wisdom book they did, where him and Kitty were like off and on again, hating each other, loving each other.
Okay,
amazing.
Yeah,
the Wisdom solo series was so fucking good.
Damn,
like oh my god, I love him so. All right, that brings us to the final book, X-Men number 21.
Huge.
Josue, I got the cover A.
Right.
I got the Cyclops one.
Oh my god!
Even though it's hideous,
it's so bad.
And of course, I got this one.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna have them all.
Yeah.
So we finally see the election of the new X-Men.
Oh no!
It's kind of
the opening sequence.
Okay, we'll talk. I'm just setting up reading the creative team. We'll get to it. So this is the reveal of who the new X-Men are going to be. Is the big story. So written by Jonathan Hickman, drawn by 4 people. Nick Dragata, Russell Delderman, Lucas Wernick, and Sarah Percelli, with coloring by Frank Martin, Matthew Wilson, Sonny Coe, and Nolan Woodard, and letter by Clayton Cowles. So that's going to be a lot of fun for me to write a tweet about. So the opening scene is Namor at the reception, and he's talking to one of the Jamie dupes who's serving him, and Charles and Eric show up. And let me just say, as terrible as Xavier looks, Magneto looks great.
Fuck yeah.
So, like the top hat, amazing. So basically they're like, hey, why don't you come home to mutants? You're a mutant. We'll put you on the Quiet Council. And he's like, I'm the king of Atlantis. Basically like I don't want to talk to 11 other people who think they're equal to me to make decisions. Like, why would I ever want that? Which is excellent, because that's exactly what Namor would say. But yeah, basically he's like, I'm a real king. I see myself rolling over all things, basically, not just some mutual counsel. And his last thing is like, get back to me when you have something more to offer. So what are they going to offer him?
Well, I mean, to me, it was the art. This, Jonathan Hickman, Nick Dragota, back again, post East of West. All the faces were just perfectly East of West. This whole scene, perfectly in the sunset, was just beautifully captivated by Nick Dragota and just giving it that just intense, dramatic feel. Oh my god, I was just eating up these pages because I was, god damn it, I missed that book so much. And Namor was just fan-fucking-tastic. He's just, god, he belonged in that book too. So yeah, I absolutely just love this scene.
Yeah. And then we have the election. Scott and Jean do it really cool. They basically link every mutant on the Earth. We get an appearance by Peeper, who I still say should be on the Quiet Council. And that's I want him. Sorry, Mark. I want him next to Charles and Eric. I want Charles, Eric, and Peeper, and I want everybody to ask, "Who the fuck is that?"
I would love it if Magneto's constantly distracted. Like they're just like having their own discussions. Like, Magneto, can we focus again? Like, oh yeah, sure, sorry. But that's totally Mark Maron up here too.
Oh, it's 100% Mark Maron. I was just about to say that. So basically, they have a giant election in their brains, and every mutant makes the case as to why they should be an X-Men, which I thought was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. That was a cool way to do it. And then they announce who exactly is going to be it, and it's Rogue, Sunfire, fuck yeah, Wolverine, and that's Laura Kinney, by the way.
Yes.
Everett Cinch.
Yes.
So that's going to continue. I love that Skin is hugging him.
Yeah.
Skin, one of the few Hispanic like superheroes ever. And Mondo's the other one. I didn't even notice that. Oh, and Monet looks upset. So, quick fun fact: in Gen X, Monet and Everett were dating when he died.
Oh.
And so he's back, and he's one of the few people she's ever deigned to actually like.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal to her. And now he's back, and he's crazy for Laura.
Right.
So that's why her look like that in that panel is like,
yeah.
She's also probably pissed that she wasn't chosen because, let's be honest, it's Monet. Mm-hmm. And Polaris, in addition to Jean and Scott. So that's a pretty fun team. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah,
so.
I wish I kind of would have read the gala first before I read all the other Marvel books this week, and the giant splash page in every other book was just the reveal. So I was like, thanks, Marvel.
It was revealed on Twitter 2 weeks ago. So, but then we get a bunch of Sinister Secrets, which we haven't seen since Hawksbox.
Yeah.
I'm not going to delve into those right now. By the way, this is Patton Oswalt again.
Oh,
and
totally.
That is his wife. So,
and then stupid asshole
not George R. R. Martin,
not finishing his book back there. What are you doing at a party? Finish the goddamn book.
Go the fuck home. And then we get Emma's making a deal we're not going to find much out about yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then Scott's helping somebody at the bar.
So good, dude. The meta on this moment, I ate it up, dude. I was like, this is where it starts. We're gonna hopefully, if it'll be Hawksbox, will be the introduction.
So Cyclops turns and talks to somebody who thanks him for a drink. He's like, so, and it cuts over and it's Kevin Feige. And he says, what's your story? And he's like, well, it's complicated. And we cut away from there.
Oh my god, dude.
You dirty teases.
You fucking assholes.
And then we get, it looks like the X-Men are actually sent on a mission because it looks like they're the ones who leave. Well, Storm goes with them too, actually.
Well, I mean, it's Quinn just kind of pointing people around.
Yeah, certain people. So,
Jean.
Exodus. Exodus is one of them
Exodus?
too. Oh wait, this is the Quiet Council.
Wait. Wait. But it's just part of the 5 too. And Iceman? Iceman's part of the council?
I don't think he's talking to Iceman.
He's
in a panel with him, but maybe he's...
But Iceman's literally walking behind Storm into the
it is part of the 5, because that's Proteus.
Yeah, it is part of the 5, and then Iceman is walking behind Storm into the portal.
Well, we know something big happens, which we haven't seen
it's still
yet,
megas for planet size.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is all Omegas. Oh, we're smart. Look at us.
Fuck yeah.
So... and then I love how they use the Jamie dupes as basically a slave force. Can I just point that out? I love it. Jamie hates that. And then Emma basically is like, we're going to make a big announcement. We're going to link everybody's brains. A deep breath, a soft exhale, and fireworks at the evening's end, which is not the end at all, but the beginning of a new age. And that's where it leaves off. And we still don't know what happened. That left everybody all shocked.
I think because the next one is planet size. So I think it'll just be the whole experience. I fucking love the moment when she was just like, and you can we're all linking psychically. So, I mean, sorry for the intrusion, but this is one of those once in a lifetime moments where were you when it happened? And it'd be a shame if you were closed-minded to miss it. And I was like, that's such a great fucking call out to every fucking asshole, bigot asshole out there. Especially the guy that was just there in the comic book shop this week. But yeah.
Plus, I actually like it as a call out of you're too good to read X-Men. Oh, you don't read big 2 books? Oh, well, you're going to miss out. Everybody else is going to be talking about it.
But yeah, it's way too ambiguous who those 2 figures are in this little spark of a sun. But this next thing...
I didn't even want to address it.
Oh, hell no. It's way too ambiguous. But man, if it's anything like Pharaoh's, I have an idea of what it's going to be like. But holy shit, Planet Size X-Men, I can't fucking wait because this was such a great setup.
Definitely. All right, guys, that's everything we have. Josue, anything else you want to add at this point? I know you picked up a couple trades, but it's books that you read before, so it's not really you need to review them again or anything.
But definitely shout-outs for people to also look out for, since there are in trades. It's Kanto 2, Volume 2, The Hollow Man, and the volume of Terminal Punks. Really, really fucking great books.
Nice. For myself, I just finished Destiny New York, as I said, but I still need to go Volume 4. I missed the Kickstarter. It was right when we were getting into it, so I missed it by 3 days. So I got to wait for it to be publicly available, but I'll be around for Volume 5. The girl from the Smoke Weed and See the Future book, she's in this. That's cool. I got to where she is, so we can see the crossover.
Nice.
Now. The next thing I'm going to probably read is Of Magics and Muses, 12 of Magic and Muses, which is one of our Kickstarters. I got 3 gigantic books for it. I can't wait to get into that.
Oh, nice.
And I'm either going to read the new Star Wars book or the new Nick Hornby book. I still haven't decided. Yeah. But that's everything, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on We Have Issues. As always, you can follow us on Twitter. For the show, it's WHI Podcast. For Keith, me, that's WHI Podcast Keith. For our producer, Liz, it's WHI Podcast Liz. And for Josue, it's Had Josue Reads Josue. Also, check us out on our sister show, which is called Jukebox Vertigo, where we talk about all kinds of different music and we build a playlist that's continuously forming. This week, we are doing a Pride episode because of Pride Month, and we're going to have some special guests. So we're really excited to do that and put some emphasis and spotlight on both LGBT artists as well as LGBT guests.
Absolutely.
So we're really excited about that. So finally, join us as we want to go ahead and give a shout out that we're going to be doing a new podcast with one of our old compatriots, one of our good friends, Crozen, who has taken a bit of a step back from podcasting for a bit. Just he's busy. He has a bro life. We don't. So
as you can tell by our many comics.
Yeah, exactly. So we are going to be doing a new comic or new podcast with him, and this one is going to be a video game podcast.
Yes,
and we are going to be recording our first episode after E3. We want that to be our big launch.
Mm-hmm.
So the show is called Podcast Ultra. It is going to be hosted by Crozen, with the two of us appearing. And you can find it at ultra_pod on Twitter. So make sure to get on the ground floor of that. I'm sure we're going to do a lot of fun things. Crozen seems like he's burdened with ideas. Like it's the most like ideas he's thrown at me ever. And we've been working together for like 2 years. So I really like it. He's motivated and it's going to be a lot of fun.
He found a soundbite board today. And he seemed very ecstatic for it.
I saw that. I was like, oh man. So we're going to have fun. I'm excited about it. And I do miss talking about comics. So, I mean, video games. Blah. Yeah, so, which will mostly be me talking about Persona 5. Anyways, so thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. You can follow us on Geek Elite Media, so at Geek Elite Media as well, and geekelitemedia.com, where you can check out all of our shows, plus all the other shows on Geek Elite Media. Check them out. It's pretty much a show for everything. So check it out, and don't forget to always geek out.
This concludes our broadcast. Beep.